Chosen one, stop. Do not scroll past this, and do not play it in front of anyone. Look around you right now. Are you alone? Because God said to see this alone, and there is a reason he waited for this exact hour, when the house is quiet and no one is watching your face. What he is about to say, he has tried to say 3 times before, and every time, the noise of other people bent it before it reached you. So, this time, he cleared the room. That emptiness around you lately, the friends who drifted, the invitations that stopped, the strange growing quiet of your life, you called it loneliness and cried over it more than once. Chosen one, it was never abandonment. It was heaven clearing a room. This room, tonight, for a conversation that could not survive witnesses. Because God is not going to speak to the person everyone knows, the smiling one, the strong one, the one who says, I am fine. He is going to speak to the one underneath, the one who carried what nobody saw, gave what nobody counted, and wept where nobody heard. He saw all of it. He kept records of all of it. And in the next few minutes, he is going to tell you what those hidden years were actually building, why it had to be secret, and what happens now. Because the private conversation you are about to have is the kind heaven only schedules before a door opens in public. Stay. This one is not for the crowd. It never was. If you are truly alone right now, or as alone as your life allows, with one earbud in the dark or parked in the driveway after everyone went inside, then mark this hour. Type the words, I am alone, with him in the comments, not for strangers to read, for heaven to witness. Some meetings deserve a signature at the door, and this is one of them. Let me begin with what he saw, because you have been assuming for years that nobody was watching, and the record needs correcting tonight, gently, 1 page at a time. He saw the mornings you got up and carried a weight you never once described out loud. Not to your closest friend, not to your own family, because you had decided long ago that your heaviness was yours to manage, and everyone else had enough. You walked into rooms carrying it, and made those rooms lighter anyway. No one ever asked what it cost. He saw the cost. He has always seen the cost. He saw the money you gave when you could not afford to give it, the quiet transfers, the bill you covered without being asked, the envelope no one traced back to you. You did the math afterward alone, and you never mentioned it, and the person you helped forgot by spring. Heaven did not forget. There are gifts, chosen one, that only exist in 2 ledgers, yours and his. He saw the tears, not the public ones. Those are easy, everyone comforts those. The other ones, the shower ones, the car ones, the 3 in the morning ones, muffled so the house would not wake. You thought they disappeared into the noise of the water. Scripture says he collects them in a bottle, every single one recorded, and you have never read that verse the same way you are about to live it. He saw the forgiveness nobody witnessed, the person who broke you and never once apologized, and the private war you fought for years to lay it down anyway, inch by inch, prayer by prayer, with no audience and no credit. Do you know how rare that is? Forgiveness without spectators. It is one of the heaviest things a human being can lift, and you lifted it in an empty gym. And he saw the staying, when leaving would have been understandable, when quitting had 100 lawyers arguing its case, the marriage you kept showing up for, the child you kept believing in, the calling you kept tending in a season when it produced nothing but silence. Endurance photographed from the outside looks like nothing at all. Chosen one, it just looks like a person standing there. Heaven photographs it from the inside, and from the inside it is blinding. I need you to sit with this list for a moment, because something happens to a person who discovers they were witnessed all along, and I want it to happen to you slowly, properly, all the way down. You built a theology out of being overlooked. Somewhere in the hidden years, you quietly concluded that being unseen was your assignment, that God watches the platforms and the microphones, and the visible servants, and that people like you, the background people, the carrying people, get a kind of distracted, general love. Admit that you believed that. Most of the truest people I know believe some version of it. Now hear what is actually true, and let it break the old theology cleanly. It is precisely the hidden things that heaven watches most closely, because they are the only things on this earth that cannot be faked. Public goodness always has a second possible explanation: applause, reputation, the pleasure of being thanked. Hidden goodness has no second explanation. It is the one pure signal in a noisy world, the only evidence about a human heart that requires no cross-examination. Chosen one, you thought the secrecy of your sacrifices made them small. The secrecy is what made them certain. You have spent years submitting flawless evidence and assuming the court was empty. The court was never empty. And this is why the reward has to come the way it is coming tonight, privately, in a cleared room, with no one else watching, because a reward is always shaped like its sacrifice. What was given in secret cannot be repaid on a stage. It would bankrupt the meaning of it. The Father who sees in secret, the old words say, will reward in secret first. The public part comes later, and it comes as a consequence, not as the payment. The payment is this hour, this room, him telling you himself, I saw all of it. And because this room is finally quiet enough for honesty, let me name what those years of assumed invisibility did to your body, because it kept the receipts too. Feel it now, while no one is watching you. The shoulders that learned to round slightly, as if to take up less claim on the world. The jaw that holds itself through every conversation. The breath that lives high in the chest, never quite descending. The breathing of a person permanently braced. You did not choose any of that. It accumulated, sacrifice by unseen sacrifice, the posture of someone who concluded that the room was never going to turn toward them. Let your breath drop low for a moment, right now, into the belly. Let the shoulders fall back to where they were originally installed. Notice how unfamiliar their true position feels. That unfamiliarity is the measurement of how long you have been carrying the unseen years in your frame. Tonight begins the uncarrying. One instruction for this night, and I ask it as seriously as I have asked anything. When this message ends, do not immediately share it. I know that sounds backward. Every voice online begs you to share things, and there will be a right moment for that later, near the end, and I will tell you when, but not yet, and here is why. What is being handed to you tonight is being handed to you in private, for reasons we have only begun to open. A commissioning shown to the crowd before it has finished landing becomes a performance of a commissioning, and you have performed enough for one lifetime. Let it land first. Let it be yours first, fully, in the same secrecy where all your truest things have always lived. The room was cleared at real cost, chosen one. Honor the clearing by staying in it a little longer, and do not be surprised by what your emotions do across the rest of this hour. People weep at strange moments in messages like this, not at the obviously moving parts, but at odd small sentences that happen to fit an old wound exactly. If that happens, let it. Tears in a cleared room are not weakness, they are inventory finally being counted. The ones who never cry alone, who hold the face even in empty rooms, hear me gently. That holding is part of the mask we are about to talk about, and its retirement is closer than you think. So let those 5 sightings stand as the opening of the record. The wait, the giving, the tears, the forgiving, the staying. 5 exhibits from years you thought were unwitnessed. And understand that this is only the acknowledgement, not the message itself. Acknowledgement is what God does at the door of a commissioning. The way a king receives a soldier home before assigning him the next campaign. The receiving had to come first, because you cannot commission a person who still believes they are invisible. But now, the the door itself. Because tonight is not only about what he saw. Tonight is about why the room had to be empty for you to hear the rest. And that answer is going to reframe every lonely season you have ever survived, all the way back to the beginning. Look at the shape of your life over these last seasons. The circle got smaller. Do not rush past that. Look at it honestly. People who were daily became monthly, became holidays, became memories. Groups that used to include you closed gently around your absence. Even in rooms full of people, you have felt a strange membrane between you and everyone else lately, as if you were hearing the party through glass. You have diagnosed this a dozen ways. Depression, age, something wrong with me, the world, moving on, chosen one. There is another diagnosis, and it is the one nobody offers because it does not occur to comforted people. In every account we have of a person being prepared for wait, the same thing happens first, and it happens without exception. The room empties. Before the burning bush, decades of desert, with sheep for company. Before the palace, a pit and a prison, both of them subtraction chambers. Before the giant fell in front of armies, years in a field where the only witnesses to a boy killing lions were the lions. Before the ministry that split history, 40 days where even bread was removed. The pattern is so consistent, it should be taught to children. Elevation is always preceded by isolation, not as punishment, as preparation of the channel. Because here is what crowds do, even loving crowds, even family. They keep you tuned to their frequency. Their expectations sit on you like hands on a radio dial, holding you at the station everyone agreed you are. Their voices, wonderful and warm, are still noise laid over the one voice that has been trying to reach the real you for years. God does not empty your room because he hates your friendships, chosen one. He empties it because some words are addressed so specifically to who you actually are that they cannot pass through the interference of who everyone else needs you to be. So the loneliness was the clearing of the line. Say that to yourself and watch years reorganize. The drifting friends were not rejection, they were volume being lowered. The closed circles were not exile, they were soundproofing. You were not being left, you were being tuned. And tonight, in the empty room you have grieved over for so long, the reason for all of it is finally scheduled to speak. We should give this place a name, because you will need to find your way back to it long after tonight ends. Call it the cleared room. The cleared room is any hour and any space where the interference of every other voice has been removed, so that the one voice can address the one you. It is not defined by walls. It can be a parked car, a kitchen at midnight, a walk before the world wakes. It is defined by subtraction. And the first thing to understand about the cleared room is that you do not build it. It gets built around you by a God who has something to say, and the building process from the inside feels exactly like your last 2 years have felt. How do you know your quiet season is a cleared room and not just an empty stretch of life? Fair question, and it deserves real answers. There are 5 marks, and I want you to count yours as I name them. First, the quiet has a strange quality to it. Not dead, expectant. Empty rooms feel like absence, but a cleared room feels like the moment after someone says your name before you turn around. If your loneliness has ever felt weirdly attended, as if the silence itself was facing you, that is the first mark. Second, the timing runs opposite to your comfort. The room emptied precisely as your hunger deepened. Circumstantial loneliness arrives randomly. Divine clearing tracks with appetite. The quieter your life became, the louder the question inside you got. What am I actually here for? If the outer subtraction and the inner intensification arrive together, that synchronization is the second mark. Third, your sleep changed. The waking at 3 in the morning, The dreams that got vivid, specific, strangely instructive, some of them repeating, the still hours pressing on you like an appointment you keep missing. The cleared room extends into the night, because night is the hour the world finally stops dialing your frequency. Third mark. Fourth, the old anesthetic stopped working. The scrolling that used to numb you now leaves you emptier. The shows, the noise, the busy work, all of it suddenly tastes like cardboard. You thought you were becoming depressed. Consider instead that you were being weaned. A person being prepared for real bread loses their taste for sawdust, and heaven does that on purpose, ahead of schedule. Fourth mark. And fifth, you are here, alone, at this hour, having stayed through a message that filtered out everyone who was not supposed to hear it. The crowd left this room in the first 2 minutes. Chosen one. You stayed. The fifth mark of a cleared room is that when the conversation finally comes, you recognize it enough to remain in your seat. If you counted 3 or more marks, then what I said earlier stops being comfort and becomes coordinates. You are not adrift in an empty season. You are seated in a prepared one. And prepared rooms exist for one purpose only: the delivery of something that could not be delivered anywhere else. Before we go to the second part of what he says, I owe you a deeper look at the first part, because acknowledgement this old cannot be rushed. There are 2 more sightings in the record, and they are the 2 you have hidden best. He saw the dreams you dismantled with your own hands, not the ones that failed, the ones you cancelled preemptively, quietly, before they could embarrass anyone. You told the story afterward as practicality. I got realistic. I grew up. But you remember the actual night. Each one died, and there was nothing practical about the grief. You held funerals alone for things that were still alive. Chosen one, because somewhere you had learned that your size made other people uncomfortable. He was at every one of those funerals. He does not consider the deceased, and he saw the prayers you prayed for everyone except yourself, years of them, standing in the gap for children, for friends, for the sick, for strangers, an entire secret career of intercession, while your own needs stood politely at the back of every prayer like a servant waiting for the guests to finish. Do you know what heaven does with a person who never files their own claims? It keeps the file anyway. Every unprayed prayer you deserve to pray, every request you swallowed so someone else could go first, is recorded as faithfully as if you had shouted it. Tonight, some of that file gets opened. There is a name for God that almost nobody preaches on, and it was not given by a prophet or a king. It was given by a runaway servant girl, alone in a desert, at the lowest hour of a discarded life. Hagar, used by a household and then driven out of it, pregnant, invisible, the kind of person history is designed to forget. And there, beside a spring in the wilderness, with no witness for miles, the encounter happened. And the name she gave God in that place became scripture forever. El Roy, the God who sees me. Think about what that means, chosen one. Of all the names God carries in the book, the God who sees me was not coined in a temple or shouted from a mountain. It was whispered by the least seen person in the story, in an empty place, at a cleared moment. Heaven allowed its own name to be written by an invisible woman, as if to settle this question permanently for everyone who would ever feel unseen afterward. The seeing of God is not a general surveillance of the crowd. It is personal, aimed, and it specializes in exactly the people the world has stopped photographing. And when God walked the earth, he did the same thing within the first pages of the story. A man named Nathaniel, sitting alone under a fig tree, doing nothing historic, thinking thoughts no one would ever know. And the first words the Messiah ever spoke to him were not a teaching or a command. They were, "I saw you. Before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you." One sentence about having been witnessed in a private moment, and this skeptical, guarded man collapsed into faith on the spot. Do you understand why that sentence undid him? Because being truly seen in your hidden hour is the one thing no imposter can fake and no hungry heart can resist. It is the signature of God. It has always been the signature of God. Let me tell you about a woman who lived this exact night before you did, because sometimes you need to see the road walked. She was the backbone of a family that never once used that word for her. 3 decades of holding other lives together, the schedules, the emergencies, the emotional weather of an entire household routed through her like a switchboard, and the switchboard was never on anyone's list of things to thank. When the children grew and the house went quiet, the quiet nearly killed her. She described it to me in one devastating sentence. "I spent 30 years being needed," she said, "and it turns out nobody ever actually saw me. They saw what I did." And then came her version of this night. Not a video. In her case, a sleepless 4 in the morning with an old Bible, and the Hagar story falling open, and the name, El Roy, standing up off the page, like it had been waiting decades for her eyes. The God who sees me. She said she read the name 11 times and then wept for an hour, and they were not sad tears. They were the tears of a person whose 30 invisible years were being counted out loud in front of her by the only audit that matters. Nothing about her circumstances changed that night. Everything about her posture did. The woman who rose from that chair was done applying for visibility from people who had none to give. She had been seen from the top, and it reordered every room she walked into afterward. I tell you her story for one reason. The seeing of God is not a doctrine to file away. It is an event that happens to a person on a specific night, and it tends to choose nights exactly like this one. Quiet, cleared, late. It chose hers at 4 in the morning with an open book. It is choosing yours right now with an open message. The only variable left, the only one, is whether you receive it or deflect it. The old reflex will want to deflect it. Surely, this is for someone else, someone more hidden, more faithful, more deserving. Chosen one, there is nobody else in the room. The room was cleared, so there could be no confusion about who he meant. So when I tell you tonight that the wait was seen, the giving was seen, the tears, the forgiving, the staying, the buried dreams, the unprayed prayers, all seen, I am not offering you a comforting thought. I am telling you that you are currently standing in the oldest scene in the book, the cleared place, the unseen person, the God whose actual name is I See You. The scene has been reenacted for you tonight, deliberately, on schedule. And about that schedule, look at the clock, chosen one. I mean it. Look at what hour it is where you are. Most of the people this message was built for are watching it in the dead hours past midnight, before dawn, in the strange, silent shelf of time, when the world finally stops asking things of them. You think you wandered here, one video after another, coincidence stacked on coincidence, until this. But you have already learned tonight how heaven handles rooms, and now I will tell you how it handles clocks. The same way, the God who cleared your room also cleared this hour, moved this message down your stream on this night and not another, because the appointment was set before you were tired, before the video was made, before the year began. Some letters are timed to arrive when the house is finally quiet enough to read them with both hands. If a chill just moved through you, do not dismiss it. The body recognizes appointments before the mind agrees to them. That is the same recognition Nathaniel felt under the words "I saw you," the same recognition Hagar felt at the spring. It has a specific texture, unmistakable once you have felt it. Not fear exactly, not comfort exactly. The sensation of being precisely located after years of assuming you were lost. Selah. Sit in being located for a moment. You have earned it several times over. I keep pressing on this scene business for a reason that is going to matter enormously in about 20 minutes. So let me plant the flag now. The deepest wound of the hidden years was never the hiddenness itself. It was what the hiddenness taught you to believe about your worth. Somewhere across those unwitnessed decades, an equation got written in you. Unseen equals unimportant, unnoticed equals unnecessary. And that equation, chosen one, did not stay in your theology. It went down into your wiring, into the way you enter rooms, the way you speak in meetings, the way you shrink at the exact moments you were built to stand. The unseen years built a hidden treasury, but mishandled, they also built a hidden cage. Both are real. Tonight we collect the treasury and unlock the cage, in that order. There is also something waiting further down this message that I want you to know exists, because the night is long and you should know where the road leads. When we reach the part about the cage, about why the real you got locked behind the managed you, I am going to show you something practical, something physical, that touches the exact mechanism of that lock. I searched a long time before I found it, and it changed how I understand this entire subject. It is not effort, and it is not another spiritual assignment to fail at. It waits at the right point in the road. I mention it now only so that the practical part of you, the part that always asks, but what do I actually do, can stop asking and start listening. That part will be answered. Now, about what gets delivered. What God says in the cleared room tonight has 3 parts, and I will give you all 3 before this message ends. The first part is about what he saw, and you have already begun receiving it. The second part is about what you are not, and it will take a name off you that has been bolted on for decades. The third part is about where you are being sent, and it is the reason the first 2 had to come first. Hold that structure. We move through it together. In order, because commissionings have an order for the same reason surgeries do. If the marks landed, if you just recognized your own last 2 years in a list spoken by a stranger, type the word seen in the comments. 1 word. It will sit there among thousands of others, from people who also thought their empty room was a verdict. And together, those words become the strangest and most beautiful directory on the internet. A list of people heaven pulled aside in the same season. But before the message can be delivered, there is one more obstacle, and it is not around you, it is on you. Because God does not speak to masks, and you, chosen one, are wearing one so well fitted, so many years in the shaping, that you have almost forgotten it comes off. We need to talk about the person everyone knows. Let us talk about the person everyone knows, because that person is standing between you and the rest of what God said, and they have to step aside now. You built them a long time ago. Most people can even find the year if they look honestly. The year you learned that the real you was too much, or not enough, or inconvenient at the wrong moment. Maybe you were the child praised for being easy, no trouble at all, and you heard what was underneath the praise. Stay easy, or lose the love. Maybe you were the strong one after something broke in your family, promoted at 8 years old into a job nobody should hold at 40, chief of staying calm, minister of needing nothing. Maybe you were mocked once, a single scene, for showing the underneath, and the scene taught you in one afternoon what some people take decades to learn. Realness has a price. Build something safer to wear. So you built. A smiling likeness, a managed voice, a person calibrated to what every room required, competent here, agreeable there, fine everywhere. It worked, chosen one. Let us be fair to the young architect. It worked. The mockery stopped. The love stabilized. The rooms approved. And year by year the likeness got better funded than the original, until the day came. And you remember this day too if you dare to look. The day someone asked how you actually were, and you reached inside for the true answer, and what came out was the managed one. Automatically, without a decision. That was the day you discovered the mask had stopped being something you wear. It had become something that wears you. We are going to name this too, because tonight is a night of naming hidden machinery. Call it the performance prison. The performance prison is the automated system that manages your visible self, built in childhood as protection, running now as confinement. And I choose the word prison carefully, not for drama, but for accuracy, because of the specific way it holds you. A cage restrains the body. A prison, a real one, restructures the life around itself, schedules it, patrols it, until the inmate begins managing their own confinement and calls it their personality. That is what happened. You are not fake. Chosen one, hear me on this. Fake people do not ache the way you have been aching. You are a true person operating a heavy costume, and the ache is the true person, still alive under there, still expecting to be found. Now look at what the prison actually costs, because you have been paying 4 invoices in the dark for decades, and it is time someone itemized them. The first invoice is energy. You already know the signature exhaustion, the one that follows you home from every gathering, even good ones, even gatherings full of people you love. Ordinary tiredness comes from doing. Yours comes from broadcasting, from running the managed self in real time, monitoring every face for feedback, adjusting the output, holding the voice at the approved frequency for hours. It is a second full-time job worked on top of every other job, unpaid, unrecorded, unrelenting. People wonder why you are so tired for someone whose life looks manageable. This is why. You have been performing your life instead of living it, and performance burns triple fuel. The second invoice is intimacy, and this one explains a loneliness even the cleared room does not explain. You can be surrounded, partnered, befriended, and still starving, because the people who love you are loving the likeness. Their love is real, chosen one, but it keeps landing on the costume and sliding off before it reaches you. That is why compliments never quite nourish. That is why even genuine affection from your closest people can leave you strangely empty an hour later. It was aimed true and delivered to the wrong resident. The prison does not only keep you in, it keeps every incoming love out, or rather, it signs for the package at the gate and never brings it inside. The third invoice is reception, and this is the one that matters most tonight. A person in performance mode is a person in broadcast mode, and broadcast and reception do not run at the same time on human equipment. All those years you wondered why you could not hear God the way others described, why the whispers everyone talked about never seemed to reach you, why prayer felt like leaving voicemails. Chosen one, the line was not dead. The line was busy. The performance takes the exact inner channel that reception requires, the quiet monitoring layer of you, and floods it with output, managing, projecting, anticipating. God was not silent through those years. You were transmitting on the receiving frequency, around the clock, including in church, including in prayer, including, until about an hour ago, in this very message. And the fourth invoice is the calling itself, because here is what nobody tells the masked. Assignments are fitted to the original, not to the likeness. The thing you were built for requires the actual you, the specific, strange original under the costume, with its unapproved intensity and its inconvenient depth, and all the qualities you sanded off for public safety. The managed self cannot carry the calling. It was never load-rated for it. It was built to survive rooms, not to move them. Which means every year the prison runs, the assignment waits, not because heaven is withholding, but because the person it fits has not yet reported to the door in their own body. Energy, intimacy, reception, calling. 4 invoices, 1 machine. And now that the machine is lit and named, I want to show you the most counterintuitive fact about it, the one that will finally explain your hardest relationships. The performance prison runs strongest with the people closest to you, not with strangers, with your own family, your oldest friends, the ones who should be safest. You have noticed this and hated yourself for it. You can be nearly real with a stranger on a plane and then walk into your childhood home and feel the costume bolt itself on in the doorway. You concluded something must be deeply wrong with you, that you are most false exactly where you should be most true. But think about who built the prison and why. It was built to protect you from the people whose opinions could actually wound you, and no opinions on earth outrank the original audience. The stranger cannot hurt you, so the guard sleeps. Your mother, your husband, your oldest friend, they hold the original wounding power, so the guard stands tallest there. You are not most false with your closest people because you love them least, chosen one. The system clamps hardest where the stakes were always highest. It is machinery, not hypocrisy, and machinery can be dismantled. So breathe and let a decade of self-contempt about your own falseness fall off you right here. You were never a liar. You were a child engineer who built shelter out of the only materials available, and the shelter outlived the storm it was built for. The storm ended years ago. Nobody sent the shelter a memo. Tonight is the memo. And here I must plant a flag I will return to, because your practical mind deserves to know the road. The performance prison is not only a habit of the soul. Decades of running it leave something physical behind, a groove in the actual wiring, which is why sincere resolutions to just be more authentic have failed you every time you made them. You cannot decide your way out of machinery that fires faster than decisions. The lock, in other words, has a physical component, and later in this message, when you have seen everything you need to see, I am going to show you the physical key I found, the one that works at the level where the lock actually lives. I am not opening it yet. The order matters tonight, of all nights, but it exists. It is simpler than you would believe, and the search for it is over. Let your practical mind rest on that, and give me its full attention back. Meanwhile, taste what is on the other side of the door, just once, briefly, so the body knows what it is walking toward. Picture an evening, some months out, dinner with the people who have known you longest, the highest security wing of the old prison, and you are just there, present in your own face, saying the true thing in the moment it is true, laughing the early laugh, letting a silence sit without rushing to manage it. No script ran before. No review board convenes after. You drive home spending nothing, arriving fuller than you left, and the person beside you says, almost puzzled, "You seem different lately." Lighter, and you smile, because different is exactly backward. What they are meeting for the first time in decades is the original. That evening is not a fantasy, chosen one. It is a scheduled stop on the road you stepped onto an hour ago. Before we go further, run the diagnostic, because some of you are still not sure whether the prison is running in you or whether you are simply a private person. There is a difference, and 5 signs mark it. First sign, the pre-performance. You rehearse conversations before they happen. In the shower, on the drive, you draft your lines for interactions that have not occurred, sometimes for interactions that never occur. Private people think ahead. Imprisoned people write scripts, because the system does not trust the original to speak live. Second sign, the post-performance. You replay conversations after they end, auditing your own footage. Why did I say that? What did they think when my voice did that? The system reviews its broadcasts, chosen one, sometimes for days. A person living free of the machine says their piece and lets the room keep what it heard. If your pillow regularly hosts a review board, that is the second sign. Third sign, the compliment slide. When genuine praise lands on you, watch what happens inside. It cannot find anywhere to sit. You deflect it, or you translate it downward. They are just being kind, or you receive it graciously on the surface, while something inside says, quietly, they would not say that if they knew. Praise sliding off is not humility. It is the costume signing for a package, addressed to the resident. Fourth sign, the perception, ambush. The specific small panic when you are seen without preparation. Someone drops by unannounced. A camera points at you before you arranged your face. Your name is called in a meeting when you had not pre-drafted a position. The jolt you feel in that half-second, that is the system caught off duty, scrambling to deploy. Free people are startled by surprises. Imprisoned people are exposed by them. And the fifth sign is the one we have already touched. The closeness clamp. The realist version of you appears with the lowest stakes. Audiences, strangers, animals, the very old, the very young, and the costume bolts on tightest at home. If the order of your authenticity is inverted, most true with those who matter least, that inversion is the fifth and final confirmation. Count them honestly. Most of the people this message was cleared for carry 4 or 5 of the 5. And if that is you, understand what you have just done. You have diagnosed in 10 minutes a machine that therapists circle for years, because you diagnosed it in the one room where it cannot deploy, a room with no audience to perform for. That is one more reason the room had to be cleared, chosen one. The prison cannot be inspected while it is running, and it only stops running when the last spectator leaves. Now, the second part of what God said, and this is the part where I must step back, because some words are not mine to paraphrase. If the Father were speaking directly into your cleared room at this hour, concerning the names you have carried, I believe it would sound like this. My child, I never called you what they called you. The easy one, the strong one, the too much one, the not enough one. Those were labels other people taped over my handwriting. I named you before any of them met you, and the name I wrote is not a role in anyone else's household, not a function, not a costume. Tonight, I am not giving you a new name. I am uncovering the first one. Let that settle before you move a muscle, because there is a mechanism in it that deserves daylight. Every label you have ever worn came from someone who met you mid-costume and named the costume. Reliable, quiet, difficult, intense, dramatic, too sensitive. The names were sincere, and they were all descriptions of the shelter, not the resident. Even the flattering ones, especially the flattering ones, because flattering labels are the hardest to take off. Strong is a beautiful prison. Selfless is a life sentence with good reviews. And you have been answering to label after label for so long that when the room finally emptied and someone asked who you actually are, underneath all of it, you noticed with a small horror that you did not know how to answer. That not knowing is not emptiness, chosen one. It is excavation site. And there is a story in the book for exactly this moment. A man alone at night by a river, which is to say, a man in a cleared room. Jacob, whose very name meant grasper, schemer, the one who got things crooked and who had spent his entire life living down to it. The night everything changed, notice the conditions. He had sent everyone away. Family, servants, possessions, all of it, across the river. Scripture is careful to say it plainly, and Jacob was left alone. And it was there, alone, in the dark, that the wrestling happened. And at the end of the wrestling came the question that was really an unmasking. What is your name? Say it. Own what they call you. And he said it. Jacob, the schemer. And the answer came back like a gate opening. Your name shall no longer be Jacob. Understand what you are being shown. The new name, the true one, was given alone, at night, with no witnesses, after the man finally said out loud what he had been called, not in the crowd. Crowds cannot rename you. They are the ones who misnamed you. The renaming of a person is cleared room business, exclusively, which is one more reason your room had to empty this season. There was paperwork waiting that could not be processed in public. So, do the Jacob step, right now, quietly. Say the label you have worn longest. actually form the words, "Under your breath is enough." The strong one, the easy one, the invisible one, whatever yours is. Say it the way Jacob said his, as a confession of what you have answered to, not a claim of what you are. And then hear the same gate open over you that opened over him. That is no longer your name. It was never your name. It was a description of the costume, filed by people who never saw you get dressed. Let me also tell you what the uncovering feels like in the weeks after this night, so you can recognize the evidence when it arrives. The original does not return all at once. There is no morning where you wake up costume-free. It returns in glimpses, and the glimpses have a signature. You will catch yourself mid-sentence saying an actual opinion, unpolished, unmanaged, and notice that the room did not collapse. You will laugh at something, your real laugh, the loud, early one from before the shaping, and it will startle you like hearing a recording of yourself as a child. You will feel, some ordinary afternoon, a strange lightness in a conversation, and only afterward understand what it was. The monitor was off. You were just there, resident in your own face, spending no fuel on broadcast. Each glimpse will last seconds at first. Do not despise the seconds, chosen one. A prisoner does not walk out of a 30-year sentence at a run. They stand in the yard blinking at unmediated sunlight, and the blinking is not failure. It is the first honest light meeting the actual eyes. Now I need to warn you about something, because the second part of the commissioning always triggers it. Somewhere in the last few minutes, a pressure has probably started building in you, and it feels like a good pressure. The urge to tell someone, to send this to your sister, to wake your husband, to post something. I need to tell you something, and it is going to cost me to say it this early. Hold that urge. Not forever, but hold it. Because there is a reason the third part of what God says comes with a seal on it. And a young man in the book learned that reason in the most expensive way possible. Joseph, 17, receives the dream of his life, the true one, the one that would eventually come to pass in every detail. And the first thing he does, the very first thing, is call a family meeting and announce it to his brothers, to the exact people whose position the dream rearranged. You know what followed. The pit followed. The selling followed. 20 years of detour followed. And while God wove even that into the road, hear what the text is quietly teaching. The dream was true, and sharing it early nearly cost him everything. Premature announcement handed his assignment to his interference. Because here is what happens when a commissioning is shown to a crowd before it has finished landing. The crowd does what crowds do. It measures the vision against the you they know, the costume, and returns a verdict. Impossible, arrogant, cute. Who do you think you are? And their verdict, spoken in the voices that matter most to you, arrives with wounding power, precisely calibrated by how much you love them. A vision 2 hours old is a newborn, chosen one. You do not pass a newborn around a skeptical room. Some things are shared when they can survive handling. What you receive tonight goes in the sealed pouch between you and Elroy until it has bones. I will tell you before this message ends when and how the unsealing works, because there is a right way. But the discipline begins now. The room was cleared coming in. Keep it cleared going out a little while longer, and spare one merciful glance for the people who handed you the blueprint, because almost no one builds a performance prison from original plans. Your parents wore costumes too, their parents before them. The strong one who raised you was somebody who never got to put strong down. The critical one was managing terrors you never saw, and the household that taught you to perform was itself a stage inherited from an earlier stage. Generations of loved people loving each other through layers of managed selves, everyone lonely, nobody lying exactly, the whole line waiting for one person to be taken aside into a cleared room and shown the machinery. Do you understand what I am telling you? chosen one. You are not the most broken link in your family line. You are the first one being handed the diagram. What you dismantle in yourself this season, you dismantle downstream of you as well, in children who will never know why home feels safer to be real in than it ever felt for you. Do something with your hands now, wherever you are, because bodies learn faster than minds at hours like this. Bring one hand up to your own face, gently, the way you would touch something you were about to remove. You do not have to mime the whole thing. This is not theater. Just rest the fingers along the cheekbone for one breath and acknowledge, in the privacy where all your truest transactions have always happened, what has been living there. The managed smile, the held expression, the face that answers before you do. And as you lower the hand, lower it slowly and let it take some of the holding with it. You will put the face back on tomorrow probably. Old systems do not retire in a night, but you will put it on knowing it is a garment now, not skin. That single reclassification, garment, not skin, is the beginning of every exit from this particular prison. If your hand is back in your lap and something in your face feels 1 degree less defended, type the words, "I take it off." 4 words, in a public room, about a private unmasking. The prison hates that sentence more than any other on earth. One more detail from the river, because Jacob did not walk away from his renaming the same as he arrived, and neither will you. The text says he limped afterward, the wrestling touched his hip, and he carried the mark for life. People read that as damage. Read it again as design. The limp was the receipt of the encounter, the permanent proof that the renaming was real and not a dream, and it changed how the man moved through every room afterward. Slower, less self-propelled, unable to strut ever again. Chosen one, the unmasked life comes with its own beautiful limp. You will be less smooth than the costume was, less quick with the managed answer, less flawless in rooms, occasionally visibly moved at inconvenient moments. Do not grieve the smoothness. The limp is not what the encounter cost you. It is what it left you, the walk of a person who has been touched at close range and no longer needs to perform invulnerability for anyone. Some of the truest people alive walk into rooms limping like that, and rooms, without knowing why, trust them on sight. There is one more thing to say about secrecy before we move on, because I do not want you confusing 2 words that look like twins and live in different kingdoms: hiddenness and hiding. They are not the same, and the difference decides whether your privacy feeds you or starves you. Hiding is the prison behavior. It conceals the self out of fear, curates what leaks out, and exhausts you, because hiding is a performance too, the performance of absence. Hiddenness is something else entirely. Hiddenness is what a seed does in the ground, what bread does in the oven, what a king does in the years he is being formed in the shepherd fields. It conceals the self on purpose, under orders, for ripening. Hiding says, they must not see me, or I am in danger. Hiddenness says, they may not see me yet, because what is forming is not finished. Same closed door, opposite reasons, opposite fruit. The commissioning you are receiving tonight asks for hiddenness, not hiding. You are not being told to fear exposure. You are being told to honor timing. The way a wise farmer does not dig up the seed weekly to show the neighbors it is growing. And here is how you tell which one you are practicing on any given day. Hiding isolates you from God as well as people. It draws the curtains on every window at once. Hiddenness isolates you toward Him. The room empties of the crowd and fills with the conversation. If your privacy has been feeling like this hour feels, occupied, attended, strangely warm, you are not hiding anymore, chosen one. You have been promoted to hiddenness, and hiddenness is the last season before harvest. And when the time to speak does come, and it will come, it arrives through a different door than the crowd. Even in hiddenness, there is a category of witness that Scripture always permits, the Mordecai category, the one who guards your becoming instead of measuring your costume. We will talk before this ends about how to recognize yours, but mark the sequence: sealed first, witnessed second, public last, each in its season. Every calling that inverted that order paid tuition for it, and yours has prepaid enough tuition for one bloodline. If you just felt the weight of that, the strange relief of being ordered to keep something precious private, type the words "It is sealed" in the comments. Nothing else, no explanation, no details of what you received. Just the seal, set in public, on contents kept private, which is exactly the right shape for everything that happens in a cleared room. And now, chosen one, we come to the question underneath every other question of this night. If the alone years were the clearing and the mask is the lock, what were those years actually building in you all that time? Because empty rooms are never merely empty. Something was under construction in yours, in the dark, for decades. It is time you toured the building. So what was under construction in your empty room all those years? Come tour the building, chosen one. You have been paying for it in loneliness for decades. You should at least see what you bought. There is a word in the oldest prayers that unlocks this whole tour. When the teaching says your Father sees in secret, the word is kryptos, the hidden place, the vault. It is the same root that gives us crypt and cryptic, the sealed chamber, the message only the intended can read. Now listen to how the sentence actually runs. The Father who sees in the kryptos will reward, not the Father who sees into it, peering from outside like a guard through bars. The grammar is stranger and warmer than that. He is in the hidden place. The vault is not where you were abandoned, chosen one. The vault is where he keeps what he is not willing to have handled. Banks do not put gravel in vaults. So the years you spent unseen were not storage. They were smelting, and 4 things were being forged in yours. 4 capacities that cannot be built anywhere else, at any price, by any shortcut. Walk the rooms with me. The first room holds your perception. Do you know why you see people the way you see them? Why you notice the flicker behind a co-worker's fine, the weight under a friend's joke, the child at the gathering who is quietly drowning? It is because you lived behind the flicker. You know the interior of the costume, so you recognize costumes on sight. People who were always seen never develop this. They take faces at face value their whole lives. Your decades of hiddenness installed X-ray vision for hidden things, and there is no other tuition for it. The unseen become the seers. That is not poetry, chosen one. That is the mechanics of how heaven manufactures the rarest instrument on earth, a human being who can find the invisible ones in any room. The second room holds your intimacy with God, and this one may surprise you, because you have spent years assuming your prayer life was thin. Hear me. People whose rooms never emptied talk to God in a crowd, even when they are alone, because the crowd lives in their head, performing even their prayers. But somewhere across your silent years, out of sheer starvation, you learned to speak to him without an audience in your skull. Clumsy, maybe. Wordless, often, but direct. Do you know how rare direct is? The empty room forced on you, the one fluency that most believers never acquire, conversation without performance. And every future season of your life will be built on that channel, like a city on a river. The third room holds your compassion, and I will not spend long here because you already know. The wounds of invisibility became a homing instinct for the invisible. Enough said. Accept this. That instinct is about to become your job description. And the fourth room is the deepest one, the load-bearing one. Identity that does not run on applause. Understand what your loneliness did to you that comfort could never do. It starved the approval system. Year after year with no audience, no feedback, no gallery to perform for. And the part of you that fed on external verdicts went hungry until it weakened. and something older underneath it, something that was there before the costume, got the chance to bear weight again. People raised on constant visibility are like trees raised in a greenhouse, tall, fast, and hollow. You grew in wind, alone, unwatered by praise, slow growth, dense grain, the kind of timber they cut for load-bearing beams. Let me make each room concrete before we leave the vault, because abstractions comfort and specifics commission. Your perception, the first room, already operates daily, and you have been dismissing it as mood. The meeting where everyone accepted the confident presentation and something in you quietly registered that the presenter was terrified. The family dinner where the loudest laughter at the table struck you as the loneliest sound in the room. And you were right. You found out months later how right. The stranger in the checkout line whose small kindness to the cashier nearly made you cry, because you alone saw what it was costing them to be gentle on clearly one of the worst days of their life. You thought everyone perceived this way and politely ignored it. They do not. Chosen one. Most people cannot see through a face at all. You read interiors the way sailors read weather, involuntarily, accurately, because you spent decades being an interior no one read. Your direct line, the second room, shows itself in the moments you have never told anyone about. The times an understanding arrived whole, unreasoned, and proved exact. The times you prayed for someone and later learned the crisis matched the hour. The strange companionship of certain silences which you experienced most often. Notice this in your loneliest seasons, as if the emptier the room got, the less alone it felt at its deepest point. You have decades of this quiet evidence, and you have never once tallied it, because the prison told you that your inner life was the least reliable thing about you. Tally it now. The line is real. It is yours, and it was installed by the very years you grieve. Your homing instinct, the third room, is why certain strangers tell you their whole lives in airports, why the broken ones at every gathering find you by desert, why children and the very old, the two groups with the least patience for costumes, have always treated you as safe. The wounded can smell a fellow interior from across a room. Chosen one. You have been receiving these visits your entire adulthood and calling them coincidence. They were referrals. And your dense grain, the fourth room, you can verify with one question. Think of the worst season of the last decade, the one that should have ended you. The diagnosis, the betrayal, the loss, whichever one is yours. Now notice, you are here, still standing, still tending, still capable of sitting through a 3-hour message about calling at some impossible hour of the night. People do not survive what you survived on greenhouse timber. Whatever else you doubt about yourself, the load test results are in, and they came in years ago. The beam holds. It has always held. Perception, direct line, homing instinct, dense grain, 4 rooms, 1 vault. Decades in the making. And now let me show you the pattern proof, the life that displays this exact construction so plainly that once you see it, you will never again read an empty season as waste. A boy in a field, chosen one, the 8th son, the one not even summoned when the prophet came to dinner, so unconsidered that his own father left him with the sheep during the most important religious event in the family history. Do not rush past that detail. When Samuel asked Jesse, "Are all your sons here?" the honest answer was no, but there is only the youngest, out in the field, only. His own house filed him under only. If anyone in Scripture had the right to build a rejection theology, it was David. But watch what the field was doing while the house was forgetting him. The slingshot that would drop Goliath in front of 2 armies, where was it learned? Alone, defending sheep no one thanked him for, on afternoons no one witnessed, against lions whose defeat made no news. The harp that would later steady a mad king and become the Psalms, Half the planet still prays. Where was it tuned? Same field, same silence. Every skill that later held up a kingdom was forged in the exact years his family read as only. The field was not where David was overlooked, chosen one. The field was where David was manufactured. And then comes the day that explains your tonight. Samuel, rejecting son after impressive son in the house, saying the sentence, "Heaven has been saying over you your whole life. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." And they finally send for the boy. And here is the detail I brought you to this story for. When the oil came down on David, the anointing, the actual commissioning of the greatest king Israel would know who was watching. A handful of family members in a private house in a nowhere town. That is all. No armies, no coronation, no crowd. The most important moment of his life was witnessed by almost no one. And then, hear this, then he went back to the sheep. Read it for yourself, it is all there. Anointed king, and back to the field, for years, carrying a sealed commissioning, while living an unchanged, visible life. The oil was private. Goliath came later. The palace came much later. Private anointing, public consequence, always in that order, sometimes with years between. So, if tonight has felt disorientingly large for a person sitting alone in an ordinary room, chosen one, now you know why. You are in the private house. This is what the oil moment looks like from inside it. Unimpressive, unwitnessed, and absolutely load-bearing. The Goliaths and the palaces are downstream. Tonight is the vial being opened, quietly, over one head, yours. And there is a scene from later in the story that tells you exactly how the visible world will handle your emergence, so you can be inoculated tonight, in advance. When David finally appears in public, at the battle line with bread for his brothers, the giant is roaring, and the armies of the scene are paralyzed. And who attacks David first? Not Goliath, Eliab. The oldest brother, the tall, impressive one, the one Samuel almost anointed by mistake. "I know your pride," Eliab sneers at him, "and the wickedness of your heart. You just came down to watch the battle." Hear what is happening in that sentence, chosen one. The seen one, who froze in the visible arena, is diagnosing the hidden one with the exact diseases of his own heart. At the very moment the hidden one arrives carrying the solution. The costume-wearing world will do the same to you. When you begin to move in what the vault built, someone close, possibly someone impressive, will name your obedience as arrogance and your calling as fantasy. When it happens, remember Eliab and do what David did. He did not defend himself. He turned to face the giant and let the outcome hold the argument. Contempt from the greenhouse is not a verdict on the field trained. It is a symptom of the greenhouse. Notice also what David carried into that valley and what he refused. They dressed him in the king armor, the approved costume of the visible world, and he took it off. "I cannot walk in these," he said. "I have not tested them." And he went down to the most public moment in national memory carrying only what the invisible years had tested: a sling, 5 smooth stones, and a direct line. Chosen one, when your public hour comes, and it is coming, the world will offer you its armor, the polished persona, the impressive packaging, one more costume for the biggest room of your life. Refuse it the same way. You go in what the field built, or you do not go. The untested armor of the scene has lost every giant fight in history. The tested equipment of the hidden has never once been embarrassed. One more gift from the David story before we leave it, because it answers a question some of you have been carrying since childhood. Why me and not them? Why was I the one left in the field while the others got the table? You have asked it about siblings, about colleagues, about friends whose roads ran smooth and lit while yours ran dark. Watch the story, answer it. When Samuel arrived, 7 impressive brothers passed before him, each one seen, groomed, credentialed by visibility, and heaven said no 7 times. Not because they were wicked, because the assignment required field construction, and they had been built in the house. The house builds presentable people, chosen one. Only the field builds kings. The question was never, why was I excluded from the table? The question, which you can only see from tonight, is, why was I selected for the field? And the answer is the oil. It was always the oil. They were being fed at the table. You were being fitted in the dark. There is a hard mercy in this that I will not soften. If you had gotten what you begged for in those years, the visibility, the inclusion, the seat among the 7, you would have been built like the 7, adequate, applauded, and unusable for this particular assignment. Every prayer for an open door that heaven seemed to ignore was a fitting session it refused to interrupt. You were not being denied a life, chosen one. You were being denied a smaller one. That sentence will make you angry, or it will make you weep, and either response is honest. But test it against your own construction. Everything in the vault, the perception, the line, the instinct, the grain, name one of the 4 that visible years could have built. There is none. The field was the only address where you could be made, and he knew it when he left you there, and it cost him something too. Watching you cry over a door he had locked on purpose, out of love for who you were becoming. Some locked doors are rejection. Yours were quality control, which brings us, finally, to the third part of what God said, the sending. And again I step back, because the words are not mine to manage. If the Father were to finish his sentence over your cleared room tonight, I believe it would sound like this. My child, I did not keep you hidden to waste you. I hid you the way I hide everything I intend to use until its hour. You know the interior of the unseen life, every hallway of it. That is not your wound. That is your territory. I am sending you to the ones no one else can find, the overlooked in plain sight, the strong ones who are drowning, the easy children, the invisible pillars, the ones who cry in showers and cars and the dead hours. You will recognize them because you were them. Go and see them the way I have seen you. Sit in that, because it reorders your whole resume. Every year of invisibility, retroactively, just became field training. The world is jammed with people performing fine, chosen one, an epidemic of managed faces, and the rescue workers it needs cannot be recruited from the always seen. They physically cannot do the work. Their eyes were never calibrated in the dark. Yours were. The assignment is not handed to you despite the hidden years. The assignment is made of them. Let me show you the faces of your assignment, because sent to the unseen sounds abstract until you realize you already know them all by sight. There is the strong one at your workplace, the fixer, the one everyone roots their chaos through, who has not been asked a real question in years because competence reads as not needing anything. Watch their hands sometime when they think no one is looking. You will see it now. There is the easy child, grown up now, maybe raising children of their own, still apologizing for taking up space, still saying it is fine before the sentence asking them is even finished. They learned it at the same school you did, chosen one, different campus, same curriculum. There is the pillar at your church or in your family, the one who has held some structure up so long that everyone forgot the pillar has a pulse. Pillars are the loneliest architecture in any building. You know that from the inside. There is the cheerful one whose jokes arrive a half beat too fast, timing you recognize, because humor deployed at that speed is not joy, it is perimeter defense. And there is the one in the empty room right now, tonight, somewhere in your city, sitting in their own cleared silence and reading it as proof of their worthlessness. One video away from either despair or a message like this one. That one especially. That one is why you were trained. Your deployment does not begin with a stage or a title. It begins the way all Elroy work begins, with seeing one hidden person deliberately this week. You will not need to hunt. Now that you know the signatures, they will surface in your ordinary rooms like watermarks held up to light. And when one surfaces, your assignment is almost embarrassingly simple. You say the small true thing that unmasked people say. Not a program, not a rescue. One sentence with sight in it. You seem tired in a way that coffee does not fix. That was a lot you just carried in there, and I noticed. How are you actually? And I have time for the real answer. One sentence, chosen one. You will watch a face change in front of you, because a person who has been performing fine for years does not expect to be caught gently by someone fluent in their dialect. That face change is the sound of your commissioning cashing its first check. And while you are learning their faces, learn the 2 mistakes every new seer makes so you can skip them. The first is overreach, trying to excavate a hidden one in a single conversation. Pressing past the face change into territory trust has not yet earned. Seeing opens doors, chosen one. It does not entitle you to walk through them at your own pace. You plant the sentence, you stay warm, and you let them set the speed of their own unmasking. The same mercy tonight extended to you. The second mistake is collecting, quietly turning found people into evidence of your calling, a gallery of rescues with your name under the frame. The moment the seeing serves your significance, the instrument fogs. You will know it is fogging when you start mentioning your finds. The Elroy work stays sealed too, chosen one, Journal and Mordecai, same vault, same discipline. Wells do not advertise. They just stay drinkable. And do not underestimate what your seeing does, even when you say nothing at all. You have felt it from the other side, the rare person around whom your own costume loosened without explanation. That is the field you now carry. Unmasked presence. Unmasks quietly, at a radius, the way one lit candle makes a dark room negotiate. Some of your assignment will be conversations. Most of it will be atmosphere. And notice how the 3 parts of the commissioning lock together, because the architecture is not accidental. I saw you. That heals the wound. You are not what they named you. That removes the false weight. I am sending you to the unseen. That converts the whole history into equipment. Healing, unburdening, deployment. No step skippable, no step out of order. This is why the message had to be long, chosen one, and why it had to be tonight, and why it had to be alone. Commissionings are not information, they are surgeries, and you were on the table. If something in you just stood up, the old soldier posture rising in a person the world filed under only, answer the sending the way the sent have always answered. Type the words, "Send me," in the comments. 2 words, the oldest reply in the book. Here am I. Send me. Heaven has records of every person who ever typed a sentence like that and meant it, and no other list matters as much. But now, I owe you the hard honesty that keeps this night from becoming just a beautiful memory, because there is a gap between receiving a commissioning and walking one, and something specific lives in that gap. You already know what it is. You met it 2 rooms ago. Here is what will happen if we end the message now. You will rise from this hour, genuinely changed, oiled, named, sent. And tomorrow, you will walk into the kitchen, the office, the Sunday gathering, the old rooms with the old audiences, and the machinery we named, the performance prison, will deploy on schedule, in the doorway, before you have made a single decision. The costume will bolt on, the voice will manage itself, the commissioned original will watch from behind the glass, again, while the likeness runs the day, not because tonight was not real, because tonight happened in your spirit. And the prison, as I told you, has a component that lives lower, in wiring trained by decades, firing faster than intention, You have felt this exact failure before. Chosen one, do not pretend you have not. Every retreat, every conference, every mountaintop encounter that evaporated by Thursday, you came down glowing, and the old rooms reabsorbed you in 72 hours, and you blamed your weak faith every single time. It was never your faith. It is a timing problem in the flesh, an ambush that fires before your renewed spirit gets a vote. The mountaintops kept writing checks that your wiring could not cash. A caution now, spoken with love, because every revelation casts a shadow, and this one has a specific shadow. I have watched ruin beautiful people, somewhere in the last hour, as the vault opened and the field years converted into equipment. A small voice may have offered you a new costume, the best one yet, superiority. The hidden one, who now knows they were the real project all along. The unseen one quietly recategorizing all the seen ones as shallow greenhouse timber. Chosen one, refuse that garment tonight, completely, because it is the old prison with a promotion. The 7 brothers were not villains. They were candidates, loved, considered, simply fitted for other things. Eliab got a whole life too. The visible people around you are not props in your vindication story. Many of them are performing harder than you ever did, with less vault to show for it, which makes them not your inferiors, but your mission field. The seeing you were given is a surgical instrument. The moment it becomes a scorecard, heaven will quietly set you aside until it is safe to hand back, and the setting aside will feel exactly like the old invisibility, except this time it will be discipline instead of construction. Guard the instrument, stay low. The unmasked life has no upper class. And begin watching from tonight for your Mordecai, because the sealed season will need its one witness eventually, and you should know the recognition marks before the need arrives. Your witness is not the most available person, and not necessarily the closest. Look for the one who has consistently guarded your becoming rather than enjoyed your performing. The one who asks questions that make you more yourself instead of advice that makes you more manageable. The one who has kept other secrets well, whose own life shows the limp of real encounters, and who has never once needed you to stay small, to stay comfortable. There will usually be exactly one, sometimes 2. When the time comes to unseal the first piece of tonight, it goes to that person, in private, unpolished. Everyone else meets the commissioning the way the world met David, later, in the valley. As a result, I want you to understand why the mountaintops keep fading, because the mechanism will free you from a decade of self-blame in about 90 seconds. An encounter, however real, is a state. A state is weather. It moves through the system, and the system returns to its baseline. And your baseline was not set by encounters. It was set by repetition, thousands of days of the prison running its routines, until the routines cut grooves, actual pathways of least resistance in the wiring, the way a cart cuts ruts in a road. Tomorrow morning, when you walk into the old kitchen, your renewed spirit will be real and present, and it will be riding in a cart, and the cart will find the ruts. Chosen one, it always finds the ruts, not because the encounter was weak, but because ruts do not care how you feel. They are geometry, not opinion. This is why willpower loses. Willpower is a passenger yanking at a wheel that follows grooves. This is why information loses. You cannot read a rut away. And this is why every honest tradition eventually discovered practice. Repetition in the opposite direction. New grooves cut slowly against the old. Practice works. It is also brutally slow when the old ruts had a 40-year head start, and most people, you among them, have not failed from laziness. You have failed from arithmetic. The old groove deepens daily just by living, and an hour of Sunday resolve against 167 hours of automatic rehearsal is not a fight, it is an erosion schedule. So, the honest question, the one that decides whether tonight survives the week, is this. Is there a way to reach the grooves themselves? Not to argue with them, not to outmuscle them, but to soften the actual geometry, so that new paths can form at something faster than erosion speed, and the commissioned original stops losing every morning commute to the costume. Hold that question. It has an answer. But first, one more breath in the vault. Because you have been working hard for a long stretch, and the next part deserves you rested. Just for a moment, stop striving to keep up with all of this. Feel the room you are in. However it looks, it has hosted one of the strangest hours of your year, and it did fine. You did fine. Nothing more is being asked of you right now except what the sheep asked of David, which was nothing, just presence. Let the last hour settle into you the way rain settles into ground that has waited a long, dry season for it. There is no test coming. There is only more water. So, the last stretch of this night has one job: to close the gap between the commissioned you and the deployed you at the level where the gap actually lives. Some of it is practice, and I will give you the practices. They are simple and few. But under the practices, there is the physical piece I have now promised you twice, the key I searched out for the lock itself, for the groove that decades of performance cut into the actual wiring. We have reached the part of the road where I can finally show it to you properly, because now you know what it is for. Not self-improvement. Deployment. There is a difference, and the difference is the whole reason you were kept alive through the hidden years. Stay with me, chosen one. The vault is about to open its last door, so let us talk about the grooves, and to do it, I need to take you back further than the prison, back before the first costume was ever fitted, because you need to see what the machinery replaced. You need to meet the original operating system. Watch a small child, 3 or 4 years old, in any room. Have you noticed there is no gap in them? No pause between the feeling and the face, between the impulse and the motion, between the thought and the sentence. However inconvenient the sentence, they are not brave, chosen one. Bravery is not required, because there is no inner distance to cross. The knowing and the doing, the being and the showing, run as one current. Scientists who measured this found that 98% of small children score at genius levels of original, unfiltered thinking, the capacity to see many doors where adults see a wall. 98%. It was never rare, it was standard issue, and by adulthood it survives in fewer than 1 in 1,000. 1 in 1,000. Somewhere between the sandbox and the office, an entire species loses its native fluency. And you already know the story of how, because you lived your own chapter of it 2 rooms ago. The easy child, the strong child, the red ink and the mockery, and the rooms that taught realness, has a price. But tonight, I can show you what that shaping did underneath, physically, because a man spent his life mapping it, and the map won the Nobel Prize. Dr. Roger Sperry proved that the human brain is not one processor, but 2, joined by a living bridge. The left hemisphere runs language, sequence, analysis, and, hear this carefully, self-monitoring. It is the auditor, the editor, the one that reviews the footage. The right hemisphere runs image, intuition, pattern, presence, the leap, the whole picture, the current that children live in. 2 instruments, chosen one, designed for duet. In that unbroken child, they play as one, which is why there is no gap between feeling and face. The duet is the original operating system. The current you remember being, before the shaping, was not innocence, it was synchrony. Now watch what the performance prison actually is, in hardware terms. Every year of managing your visible self was a year of overtraining the auditor. The monitoring, the rehearsing, the reviewing, the editing of your own face in real time, all of it runs on the left side, and what fires together, wires together, deeper and deeper. a groove cut daily for decades. Meanwhile, the spontaneous side, the original, the one that laughs the early laugh and says the true sentence, got systematically overruled, edited before broadcast, until the bridge between the two sides learned a permanent posture. Auditor first, original second, if at all. The mask, chosen one, is not on your face. It is in the traffic pattern between your hemispheres. And now every mystery of your inner life snaps into focus, one after another. Watch. Why is being around people exhausting? Because duet systems running solo auditor burn triple fuel. Why does love slide off? Because incoming warmth is intercepted and inspected by the editor before it reaches the resident. Why could you not hear the whispers all those years? Because reception is a right-side art, and the receiving channel was jammed by round-the-clock broadcast monitoring. And why do mountaintop encounters fade by Thursday? Because an encounter lifts the spirit, but does not repave traffic patterns, and Thursday morning the cart finds the ruts every time, no matter how holy the weekend was. Even your cleared room makes new sense now. Why does God isolate a person he intends to commission? Look at the hardware answer sitting next to the spiritual one. They are the same answer wearing two vocabularies. Crowds activate the auditor. Solitude stands it down. The room had to empty because the monitor had to sleep before the original could take a call. Your loneliest hours were the only hours your reception was open. Chosen one. Heaven was not being poetic when it waited for tonight. It was working around your wiring. So, the question of questions, the one this entire night has funneled toward, can the traffic pattern change? Not manage itself better, change. Can the auditor be retired from around-the-clock duty and the duet restored in an adult after decades without 10 years of monastery? Here is what most messages like this never tell you, and it is the missing piece that explains every sincere failure in your past. I have not named you completely yet tonight. I called you the seen one, the renamed one, the sent one, and all of it stands. But there is one more name, more specific than all of those, waiting at the end of this message, and it only fits a person whose duet is coming back online. Because the commissioning I described needs the original to carry it, and the original needs the channel clear, and the channel, as you now know, is physical as well as spiritual. What I am about to describe is how the physical half gets addressed. The spiritual half was addressed the moment you stayed alone in this room. Let me now speak plainly. No imagery for a few minutes, because you deserve to see this with both eyes open. Here is where the night has brought you. A commissioning has been spoken over you, 3 parts: seen, renamed, sent. Standing between you and walking it out is one machine with 2 levels. The soul level, the mask, the labels, the sealed and cleared work we have done tonight. That level has been addressed and will keep being addressed by the practices I will give you before the end. And the wiring level, the groove cut by decades of performance, the auditor overtrained into dominance, the duet silenced. That level does not respond to insight, resolve, or emotion, which is why every previous breakthrough of yours has evaporated on schedule. It responds to input at its own layer, the physical layer, and there is a way to deliver exactly that input, developed by a physician grounded in the same hemisphere science I just walked you through, requiring no talent, no discipline, no belief, only headphones, closed eyes, and 8 minutes. Who is it for? For the commissioned person whose original keeps losing the morning commute to the costume. If tonight has been someone else describing your interior with unsettling accuracy, then what follows is the most practical thing you will hear this year. If not, you may skip it freely and keep everything else. That is the honest frame. That is who you have been. That is not who you are required to stay. And before I show you the key, remember that you have already visited the duet as an adult, without knowing what you were tasting. Think of the hours that disappeared on you. The afternoon you were making something, cooking, building, writing, gardening, singing in the car, and time folded, and the monitor went silent, and you looked up, and 3 hours had passed, and you had not once watched yourself from the outside. Athletes call it the zone. Artists call it flow. Researchers in laboratories across California have spent careers studying it, and what they describe is the hemispheres cooperating, the auditor seconded to the orchestra instead of conducting it. Steve Jobs built an empire chasing that state. Songwriters describe entire songs arriving in it whole. You have had those hours, chosen one, scattered across your life like postcards from a country you thought you could never live in. They were not flukes. They were the original operating system, briefly restored, proving it still exists in you, intact, behind the traffic jam. The question was never whether the duet survives in you. Your own lost afternoons already answered that. The question is only whether the road back can be widened from accident to access. I told you earlier that I searched for the key to this lock, and I told you how, through the failed catalogues, the noble disciplines that could not be sustained, the clinical machines behind price walls, the easy noise in costumes. What ended the search was a neurologist in New York City named Dr. Daniel Barone, a physician whose career has been spent inside the nervous system, studying how it heals, regulates, and retunes itself. He had become preoccupied with the same gap we have circled all night, why insight fails to become change, and his answer took the form of something he calls the genius switch. The genius switch is an 8-minute audio experience built on neural sync technology. The protocol is almost insultingly simple. Headphones on, eyes closed. Listen once a day. There is nothing to repeat, nothing to visualize, nothing to journal, nothing to believe. The engineered sequence invites the two hemispheres back toward the partnership Sperry documented, what Barone calls whole brain activation, the duet state, the one you ran on before the shaping. And it does its work beneath awareness, at the wiring layer itself, which after tonight you understand is not a gimmick claim. It is the entire point. The groove was cut below language. The regrooving has to happen there too. Your careful mind has questions. Good. Let it ask them all. Is this meditation rebranded? No. Meditation is a discipline, a beautiful one, that asks the untrained auditor to quiet itself by effort, which is why it takes months to touch what it touches, and why the people who most need it most reliably quit. This asks nothing of the auditor. The audio does the inviting while the system rests. Is this the clinic technology? No. The neurofeedback machines that target similar territory run around $300 an hour with a specialist, $7,000 for a home unit. Real science, real walls. This was built to walk through the wall. Is this one of the sound gimmicks flooding the internet? No, and the difference matters. Those address surface rhythms. Neural sync is aimed at the partnership between hemispheres, a different target, the one this whole night has been about. Why audio, you might ask? Why would sound reach what sermons and seminars could not? Because of the gatekeeper, chosen one. Think it through with tonight in your hands. Everything you have ever tried entered through the front door, language. And language is the auditor's home turf. Every affirmation you spoke, the editor heard and fact-checked. Every resolution, it reviewed. Every insight, it filed under interesting and returned to storage. But structured sound does not knock at that door. Hearing was installed before language. It reaches both hemispheres directly. Beneath the review layer, the one channel, the monitor was never assigned to patrol. The auditor cannot audit what never passes through words. That is not a loophole, it is the design of the ear itself, and Barone built for it deliberately. And why 8 minutes? Because the aim is a daily reminder, not a nightly marathon. The hemispheres do not need argument, they need rehearsal, brief, repeated the way a tuning fork retrains a string. 8 minutes fits inside any life, which matters strategically. You already know the prison would flood a 2-hour protocol out of your schedule within a week. The practice was sized with your enemy in mind. And the question, under the questions, does anything actually happen? Let me tell you about a colleague of Barone, a fellow professional at his own lab, trained skeptic, the kind of mind that dismantles claims for a living. He ran the 8 minutes daily himself, privately, expecting nothing. His report was not fireworks, it never is, with real things. He described the editing simply slowing down, the gap between his true thought and his spoken sentence shrinking day by day, until one morning, in a meeting where he had performed a careful professional self for 11 years, he heard himself say the actual thing, cleanly, without the inner review board convening first. He said it felt less like becoming someone new, and more like a door he had been holding shut for decades, quietly swinging open because no one was pushing it anymore. That is, order to retirement beginning, chosen one. That is what it sounds like, from inside. More than 18,000 everyday people have run the same 8 minutes, and the reports rhyme in a way marketing cannot fake. Less noise, earlier laughs, compliments, landing where they were addressed. The strange spaciousness around decisions. And again, in different words, some version of the sentence, you now have the education to understand precisely. It felt like meeting someone I used to be. One more report, because it speaks to the practical mind that some of you lead with. A man in Houston, a business owner, came to the 8 minutes for entirely unspiritual reasons. His decisions had gone foggy. His focus scattered across a dozen browser tabs of a life. His measurements were business-like too. Within weeks, he described decisions resolving in minutes that used to take committees of him days. Ideas arriving assembled instead of in fragments. And the detail that belongs to tonight, he said his best thinking stopped happening in the shower and started happening in the meeting, out loud, in front of people. Do you hear what that is, chosen one? The shower was the one room his auditor went off duty. The regrooving simply extended that room into the rest of his life. His revenue noticed. His wife noticed first. And gather the reports side by side, because the pattern is the point. A lab professional heard his own true sentence survive a meeting. A Houston builder watched his clarity move from private to public rooms. 18,000 others, each describing the same door from their own hallway. None of them describe becoming someone else. Every one of them describes subtraction, the editing thinning, the traffic reversing, someone original stepping out of a decades-old queue. When independent witnesses who have never met keep drawing the same figure, chosen one, the figure is real. That is how honest courts weigh testimony, and yours has been in session all night. Now the numbers, walked through the way they were, walked to me. When colleagues saw what Barone had built, the value conversation landed near $500, and against a $7,000 home unit. That math is not strange. It was listed instead at 49, because Barone insisted the people who most need resyncing are rarely the people with clinic money. And through the page connected to this message, there is an additional 10 off, $39. For the tool aimed at the one layer that decades of your sincerity could never reach. They stack 4 gifts on top. A guided visualization from a top-rated creator on the Calm platform, walking the restored you through money, love, health, and happiness. A smart grocery guide, the 10 common foods that fog the mind, and 5 shortcuts that save real money at the stores you already use. A classic manifestation text, over a century old, the root book behind most of what gets taught today. And a beautifully designed 5 habits page for the wall your morning eyes land on. And over all of it, the guarantee that disarms the last excuse. Unconditional, money back, no time pressure on your trust. Listen once or listen 80 times. And if it does not do for you what those 18,000 reports describe, every dollar returns. No questions, no hoops. Which leaves exactly one thing at risk in this entire decision. Chosen one, and it is the thing this whole night has been about. The season. The commissioning is fresh now. The room is cleared now. Now the honest objections faced in the open, because a commissioned mind deserves answers and not slogans. Is it right, the believer in you asks, to use a physical tool for what tonight has treated as sacred territory? Look at your own hands, chosen one. You wear glasses so the eyes God gave you can read the book he wrote. You take the medicine and pray over it without contradiction. The vessel is part of the creation, and tending the vessel has never been rivalry with its creator. If decades of performance left a physical groove, then addressing the groove physically is not a substitute for the spirit. It is clearing the road the spirit has been trying to travel since you were a child. Prayer remains prayer. Reception is what improves. $39 is real money, says the steward in you, and for some of you, it truly is. So audit the other side of the ledger, the running cost of the machine this replaces. What has the auditor charged you across 30 years? Count only what you can verify. The opportunities unspoken for, the relationships held at costume distance, the energy burned broadcasting a managed self through every workday, priced at your actual hourly worth, the callings postponed per decade. Nobody invoices that total, chosen one, because it arrives disguised as personality. Against that ledger, this is not an expense. It is the smallest number ever placed next to the actual problem. And the guarantee converts even that number into a deposit you can recall at will. Am I too old for wiring to change? Asks the tired one. Hear the kindest fact in the modern science. The capacity for the hemispheres to repartner does not expire. The researchers call it plasticity, and it persists to the last day of a human life. The groove was cut by repetition, not by age. And repetition in the opposite direction, delivered beneath the auditor, does not care what year you were born. The 1 in 1,000 who kept their duet are not younger than you. They were simply never split. You are not being asked to become young. Chosen one, you are being asked to become synchronized, and synchrony has no expiration date. And the skeptic, the one I have honored all night, asks the final question. What if it is noise like the rest? Then the guarantee returns your money, and the 8 quiet minutes cost you 8 quiet minutes, which no nervous system in history has ever regretted. But notice something before you file this under too good. The unconditional guarantee is not generosity, it is information. No one offers unlimited returns on something that fails often. The arithmetic would collapse. The structure of the offer is itself evidence of how rarely it comes back. Run your 3 questions, chosen one, the ones from your own commissioning night. Does the hesitation speak in absolutes? Does it arrive precisely at a threshold? Does its fruit shrink you? You already know whose voice talks you out of doors. You have known since the second room of this message. Let me also set truthful expectations for the first days, because false fireworks kill real trust. What arrives first is subtraction, not lightning. The review board convening less. The rehearsals before conversations getting shorter, then optional. Sleep going deeper sooner. Mornings arriving clearer. Compliments beginning, strangely, to land. Then somewhere in the early weeks, the signature moment people keep reporting, a threshold appears. One that always triggered the clamp, and the clamp simply is not there. You say the true sentence before the editor can convene, and the room does not collapse, and you stand there recalibrating your entire sense of what was ever actually dangerous. That is what regrooving feels like from inside, chosen one, not a new self. The original, with road access restored. And understand plainly who this is not for. Because The genius switch is not for everyone. It is not for the person seeking a shortcut around their own yes-no audio will walk your commissioning for you, and the sending remains gloriously yours. It is not for the person who wants fireworks to post about subtraction does not photograph. It is for the commissioned one whose original keeps losing the doorway battles to a 40-year-old costume. It clears the doorway. The walking through, every single morning of it, stays yours, exactly as heaven intended when it cleared this room tonight. Because hear the timing truth without flinching. The $39 figure is tied to this page, and this season it has been scheduled to rise, and I do not control when. But the deeper clock is not the price. You are standing in the small window that follows every real commissioning, the days when the oil is still wet, when the resolve is still embodied, before the old rooms and the old grooves get their vote. 8 minutes a day beginning tonight means the wiring is softening in the exact weeks the assignment is forming. The same tool a year from now is renovation after the tenants moved back in. Same key, different arithmetic. Watch what happens inside you right now, by the way, because it is educational. Somewhere in the last 2 minutes, as the numbers arrived, a familiar voice cleared its throat. Let me think about it. Maybe after things settle down. I should research this more first. Chosen one, look at the sentence structure. Delay dressed as diligence, arriving at the exact moment of a threshold, shrinking you back toward the comfortable. You have spent all night learning to card check that voice, and here it is, on schedule, providing a live demonstration. I could not have staged a better final exam. Whatever you decide about the 8 minutes, decide it as the commissioned original in this cleared room tonight, and not as the costume in committee next week. The auditor does not get to chair the meeting about its own retirement. One warning, non-negotiable. This exists only through the official page, not Amazon, not YouTube, not Spotify, not any app store. Anything wearing the name elsewhere is a counterfeit, and a counterfeit in this territory is static, sold as signal to the exact people who can least afford more static. One genuine source. The link sits in the description below and pinned in the first comment. Nowhere else. So here is the frame I will leave it in, the only frame worthy of this night. If your spirit has been resonating, if the auditor and the duet and the door held shut for decades landed as your own biography read aloud, then follow the resonance to the description or the pinned comment and let tonight be night one. Headphones on before you sleep. The first quiet minutes of traffic moving the other way. And if the resonance is not there, skip it with my full blessing. Keep the commissioning. Work the practices coming in the next section. And know that nothing between you and Elroy depends on any tool. This was for the ones who felt their name in it. You already know, in the room where you cannot perform, which one you are. If you made a clean decision either way in the last minute, seal it the way we have sealed everything tonight. Type the words I have decided. No details, no explanation. The sealed pouch stays sealed. But decisions witnessed do not quietly unmake themselves at midnight, and the costume has unmade enough of your midnights, chosen one. Now bring your whole attention back, because what remains is the part of the night that no tool can do and nothing can substitute for. The practices of the unmasked life, the last name I have not yet spoken over you, and the words that seal a commissioning. The vault gave its treasure, the road gave its key. What is left is the walking, and the walking is yours. Now the practices, chosen one, and I promise you they are few, because the overloaded soul abandons long lists by Thursday, and I intend for you to still be walking this in 10 years. The first practice is the appointment, the cleared room that heaven built around you this season. You now keep on purpose. 10 minutes, daily, same hour if you can manage it, and the hour I recommend is the early one, before the house wakes. because you already know whose shift that is. No phone in reach, no agenda in hand. You are not there to perform prayers. You are there to practice reception, the lost art. The empty years taught you by force, and you will now keep by choice. Some days it will feel like nothing. Sit anyway. The appointment is not measured by sensations. It is measured by kept. A door answered daily becomes a door that knows your knock. The second practice is one true sentence a day. Not a confession campaign, not radical honesty performed at people. One sentence, daily, where the old system would have produced the managed version. When someone asks how you are and the costume drafts fine, you say the actual thing, or at least a truer thing. Tired, but a good tired. Struggling this week actually. That small swap, run daily, is a repetition cutting the new groove from the top down, while the 8 minutes, if you chose them, work from the bottom up. The prison was built by 10,000 small performances, chosen one. It is dismantled the same way, one honest brick at a time. The third practice is the seeing assignment, and this one is not for you, which is exactly why it will heal you. One hidden person a week, found and seen. You have the eyes now, you know the signatures, the too fast jokes, the drowning competence, the easy ones grown old. One a week, one sentence with sight in it, and then watch. Nothing evangelizes the unmasked life, like using your scars as equipment, and nothing guards you from relapse into self-focus, like a standing assignment among the invisible. The seen becomes seers, and seers, chosen one, stay seen. The circuit feeds itself. The fourth practice is the seal. Get something to write in, paper, not pixels, something that cannot notify anyone. What arrives in your appointments, the impressions, the returning dreams, the sentences that come with weight, it goes in there, dated, sealed. This is your side of the cleared room covenant. Heaven speaks into rooms that keep things. And when a word has bones, when it has survived weeks and stood up to your 3 questions, then, and only then, it goes to your Mordecai, the one witness, in private, unpolished, sealed first, witnessed second, public last, and public only ever as results. The way David went public, giant first, explanation never. And the fifth practice is the uncostuming. At the end of each day, somewhere between the front door and sleep, take 2 minutes and take the day off your body. You know the gesture now, you learned it tonight. The hand to the face, the slow lowering. Review nothing, audit nothing. Simply acknowledge. That was the costume day, some of it necessary, some of it habit, and it comes off now, garment, not skin. Then, one breath, as the resident. People sleep differently who do this. Chosen one. And the mornings arrive with less armor pre-installed. 5 practices: the appointment, the true sentence, the seeing, the seal, the uncostuming. Small, daily, boring, and utterly sufficient. Write them somewhere tonight before you sleep. Movements of heaven are not maintained by mountaintops. They are maintained by mornings. Add to the 5 a weekly one, the Sabbath of the face. 1 block of hours, once a week, engineered to require no performance at all. A long walk without the phone, a drive with no destination. An hour on a bench watching water move, alone, unscheduled, unobserved. Not the daily appointment, something roomier, the weekly deep clean of the broadcast system. You will be astonished what surfaces in hour 2 of a costume-free afternoon. Chosen one, the thoughts that finally finish themselves, the feelings that waited all week in the queue, sometimes the specific guidance that could not fit through a 10-minute window. The old world called this Sabbath and built a fence around it, and the fence, it turns out, was load-bearing. Build yours small, but build it weekly, and defend it like the appointment it is. And a word about failure days, because they are coming, and their handling decides everything. You will miss the appointment some mornings. You will hear the costume answer fine before you catch it. You will reach Thursday and realize the practice is scattered somewhere around Tuesday. Hear the protocol for that moment. It has one step. Resume. Not repent for an hour. Not rebuild the whole resolve. Not conclude the commissioning was fantasy. Resume at the next opportunity, without ceremony. The prison would love to convert every missed morning into a verdict. That is its oldest conversion trick. Lapse into proof. But grooves are not cut by perfect streaks, chosen one. They are cut by totals, and totals forgive gaps. A resumed practice is stronger than an unbroken one, because it has survived its own interruption and learned that nothing was lost. The mercy is structural. Build on it. Now I must prepare you for the 2 visitors, because they come to every commissioned person on a schedule you can nearly set a watch by. The first visitor is the counterattack, and it arrives within days. Understand its shape in advance. The system you are dismantling has stakeholders, chosen one, and I do not only mean spiritual ones. Every relationship in your life has been calibrated to the costume. Every room has its seating chart drawn around the managed you, and when the original starts appearing, the rooms will notice, and some will push back. You have changed, they will say, and they will not always mean it kindly. You seem different. You used to be so easygoing. The accusation of changed is the immune response of systems that fed on your performance, and it will arrive through the mouths you love most, because those rooms have the most calibration to lose. When it comes, do not defend, and do not retreat. Defending hands the auditor the microphone again, and retreating rebolts the mask with fresh screws. You simply stay warm and stay true. Yes, I am a little different lately. I think I like it, said with the early laugh. No countercharges filed. Warmth without costume is the one response the pushback has no script against, and given weeks, watch closely. Some of the very people who resisted your realness will begin, shyly, to attempt their own. The candle does not argue with the dark room, chosen one. It just keeps burning, and the room negotiates. Let me paint the counterattack scenes precisely, because forewarned is disarmed. The family dinner, 2 weeks out. You say a true sentence at the table, mild, nothing dramatic, and the room does a small collective flinch, and someone changes the subject with slightly too much speed. That flinch is not rejection, chosen one. It is surprise, a room recalibrating around new data. Hold steady, stay warm. Do not retreat into the old script to comfort them, and do not preach the new one either. Rooms adjust to residents faster than you fear. The workplace, week 3. The fixer role comes looking for you, the crisis that was always yours to absorb, and for the first time you feel the choice where there used to be reflex. Sometimes you will still carry it. Service is not costume, but it will be chosen now, priced, boundaried, and the difference between chosen service and reflexive absorption is the difference between a calling and a leak. Some colleagues will notice you no longer leak. 1 or 2 will respect it aloud. The rest will root their chaos elsewhere, which was always the point. And the old friend, the one who keeps casting you in the retired role, who opens every call with the same script your old self used to co-star in. You will love them and dodge the casting again and again, gently, and one day, if the candle keeps burning, they will either meet the original or drift toward audiences that still perform. Either outcome is bearable, chosen one. What is no longer bearable, what you will find you have lost the ability to do, is auditioning for a part you already died out of. Through all 3 scenes, the SEAL discipline is your quiet armor. Notice why. The pushback of rooms has power in proportion to what it can see and measure. Your commissioning, sealed, offers it no target. They are reacting to a warmer, truer, less manageable you. But the engine of it, the words spoken over your cleared room tonight, those are vaulted, where no dinner table opinion can handle them. This is the practical genius of the Joseph lesson. Chosen one. The dream they cannot hear is the dream they cannot pit. The second visitor is the anticlimax, arriving in week 2 or 3. The commissioning was cosmic, and the Tuesday is ordinary. Dishes, commute, the same emails, and something whispers, perhaps nothing happened at all, perhaps it was late-night emotion. Mark this in advance so you can read it on arrival. The oil was private, remember? David went back to sheep, remember? The ordinary weeks after a true commissioning are not evidence against it, they are its first assignment. The field where the new grooves get cut in low-stakes daylight before the valleys and the giants need them. Heaven does not skip a sent one over the small faithfulness, it seasons them in it. Watch for threads, not thrones. The seen person at work, the true sentence surviving, the appointment kept. Threads, chosen one. The thrones are woven later out of exactly these. You will want instruments along the way, some honest telemetry that the channel is actually clearing and you are not merely hoping. Watch for 5 readings, measurable within weeks. Compliments landing. The day praise reaches the resident instead of sliding off the costume. You will feel the difference physically, a small warmth where there used to be deflection. Log it. Recovery time shrinking. The gatherings that used to cost you a full evening of collapse begin costing an hour, then minutes, because presence burns a fraction of what broadcasting burned. When you come home from the family thing merely tired instead of hollowed, that is the second reading. Rehearsals going quiet. You will catch yourself walking into a difficult conversation with no script drafted, and only notice the absence afterward, the way you notice a headache gone. Third reading. Sleep deepening at the front edge, the mind standing down in minutes instead of hours, because the review board lost its evening session. Fourth, and the fifth reading, is the strangest and the surest. Hidden people surfacing, when the strong ones and the easy ones and the too fast jokers start finding you, unprompted, telling you things they tell no one. The channel is not only clear, chosen one, it is broadcasting on the frequency the drowning scan for. That reading cannot be faked, and it is the one that matters, because it means the assignment has located you. One more reading belongs on that list, the quietest one. Your relationship with mirrors will change. Not the glass ones only, though those too. The pause before them shortening, the pre-arranging of the face slowly going extinct. But the deeper mirrors, the photographs, the recordings of your voice, the memories of yourself at gatherings, the flinch you have always felt at evidence of your own image, that low-grade wince you assumed was universal, begins to dissolve, because the wince was never vanity or its lack, chosen one. It was the gap between the broadcast and the resident, registered every time you were forced to see the broadcast from outside. As the gap closes, the evidence stops accusing. 1 in 1,000 adults knows what it is to see a photo of themselves and simply think, there I am. You are walking toward that sentence. It is closer than it has ever been. 2 or more of those within a season is not imagination, it is confirmation, your own life submitting evidence. And on the day several are humming at once, stop wherever you are and say thank you out loud, because gratitude spoken inside a commissioning does something to the reach of it. Every long assignment I have ever witnessed belonged to a thankful walker. I no longer believe that is a coincidence, and after tonight, neither should you. Come now to the far country for a few minutes 1 year out, because a soul walks best toward places it has already stood. This is forecast, not fantasy, the reasonable trajectory of a person who kept the 5 practices and let the channel clear. See it. Do not strain, just see. It is an evening, 12 months from tonight. The appointment has been kept so long it is no longer a discipline, it is a homing. The early hour belongs to you and Elroy the way it once belonged to Dread. And out of those mornings has come a quiet ledger of guidance that you now consult the way other people consult anxieties. The seal journal has pages in it, dated, and some of the early entries have already come true in ways that still raise the hair on your arms when you reread them. Your Mordecai knows 2 of the sealed things now. Nobody else does. The discipline held, chosen one, and because it held, the words grew bones. The true sentences compounded. That is the strangest part of the year, how one honest brick a day rebuilt entire rooms. Certain relationships went deeper than 20 years of costume contact had ever taken them. The night your oldest friend cried at your kitchen table because you finally answered a question, actually, and it gave them permission to do the same. And certain other connections faded, the ones that were calibrated to the mask and could not find the new address, and you learned to bless them as they drifted. Ballast, not loss. The circle is smaller than it was and infinitely heavier, the way real things are heavier than inflated ones. And the seeing became a reputation you never asked for. The hidden ones find you now, at work, in the family, in rooms you merely pass through, referred by something no directory lists. The strong one from your office sat in their car with you for an hour one Thursday and said out loud what they had carried for 6 years, because you asked the one question nobody armored asks. You have lost count of these now. This is the assignment running, chosen one, the daily unspectacular Elroy work, and the wildest part is what it does to your own wound. Every hidden person you find heals another acre of the years you spent unfound. The medicine, it turns out, was always in the wound. There is one scene in that year I want to slow down for, because it is the payment for everything, and you should see it in full resolution. Some month down the road, a kitchen table, late. Across from you, one of the hidden ones, maybe the friend you sent this message to, maybe someone the referrals brought. And they are doing the thing hidden people do at the edge of being found, circling, testing, deploying the too fast joke, checking your eyes twice. And because you were trained where they live, you do not push. You do not perform concern. You just stay, unarmored, seeing them, and you say some small true thing at the right beat. And then it happens. The face change. The mask coming down in real time in front of you, decades of fine collapsing into the actual story, tears they apologize for while you shake your head slowly. And in that moment, chosen one, hold your own interior still and notice what is happening in you. Every acre of your own unseen years is being farmed at last, the nights nobody asked. The showers, the cars, the held face, all of it converting, live, into the exact instrument this person needed to survive their own hidden life. You will drive home from that table in tears yourself, and they will not be sad ones, and you will finally understand out loud what this whole night was for. He does not waste vaults. He staffs them. And you, in your own face. That is the change the year built that no one can quite name when they ask what is different about you. The gap closed. The person who decides and the person who dreams, the auditor and the original, whatever vocabulary you use for it now, they sit at one table, and the current runs, and rooms feel it when you enter. Not charisma, chosen one. Residence. You are home in yourself, and homes with someone actually living in them light differently at night. If that year pulled at you, hold the pull, and let me say the practical word one final time, softly, because this is its last appearance. Everything in that picture runs on a clear channel, and you now know the channel has 2 levels. The practices keep the soul level clear. They are free, and they are yours from tonight. The wiring level, the groove, the auditor trained by decades, that is what the 8 minutes address, and the door to them stays where it has been all night, in the description and the pinned first comment. $39 on this page and this season. Guaranteed without conditions, counterfeit everywhere else. The genius switch was the missing half of every mountaintop you ever lost to a Thursday. Take it or leave it as the original, not the costume. Either way, the commissioning stands. Now, about the sharing, because the moment I told you to hold has almost arrived. Here is the unsealing protocol for this message itself. The contents of your commissioning, what he said to you tonight, the specifics, those stay sealed, journal and Mordecai only. You know the sequence now. But the message itself, the map, that is a different category, chosen one. That is bread, and bread multiplies by being handed on. Somewhere while I was describing the hidden ones, a face rose in your mind. It always happens. It happened tonight. I have watched it happen for years. The friend who is the strong one. The sister behind her two fast jokes. The father who has been fine for 40 years. One face. When this message ends, send it to that one person. Not your feed, not a group, one person, with one line of your own. Watch this when you are alone. That is all. Do not explain. Do not summarize. The message will do its own clearing of its own room. You may never know what you interrupted in their week, chosen one. Or you may find out in a year, at a kitchen table, when they finally tell you what almost happened the season somebody sent them a video and a sentence. Be someone else, Elroy, tonight. It costs you 30 seconds. And look once at the room you have been sitting in tonight, the wider one, because you have not been as alone as it felt. Scroll the comments sometime before you sleep. I am alone with him. Seen. It is sealed. I take it off. Send me. Thousands of them. Chosen one. Each one a person in their own cleared room, at their own strange hour. Most of them convinced when they arrived that they were the only strong one drowning. The only easy child grown tired. The only unseen pillar in the world. Look at the size of the congregation the empty rooms built. The thief isolates chosen people because a lone hidden one can be kept hidden forever, but there is a physics that happens when the vaulted discover they are a generation. You are looking at that physics in the comment section of this message. Bless 3 of them tonight before you close this. Pick 3 sealed strangers and answer their word with a word. What you speak over another cleared room has a way of standing guard over yours. A word too for the one who could not be alone tonight, who watched this with a sleeping child on their chest or a partner in the next room, half listening for footsteps the whole way through. Your room counts, chosen one. The clearing was never about geography, it was about audience, and you dropped yours somewhere in the first hour like everyone else here. And a word for the one who almost left a dozen times, who felt this whole night was too large for their small, tired life. You stayed. Through 3 hours of your own biography read aloud, you stayed. Do not let the size of the message shrink you. It was sized to the assignment, not to your current strength. David was a boy when the oil came down. The mantle grows the shoulders. Chosen one. Never the other way around. It always has. And if this house has fed you, the like and the subscription are how you tell the shepherds to keep cooking, and they cost you nothing at all. This channel exists for the cleared room people, the 3 in the morning congregation, and it is not going anywhere. One more thing remains before the blessing and the sealing of this night. I promised you a final name, the one I said I had not spoken yet. It is time, but it cannot be received sitting in the ordinary way. So I want you to do something first. Sit up, wherever you are. Both feet on the floor if you can. Spine tall, not rigid. The posture of a person being knighted rather than lectured. And close your eyes when I tell you to. Not yet. Because for 60 seconds we are going to finish what the river started in Jacob. And you will want your whole body present for it. Now, eyes closed. See the room you are in, but see it cleared, the way heaven has seen it all night. No audience, no cameras, no committee, just you and the one whose name is I See You. And see, standing in front of you, a figure holding a folded garment, not a costume this time, something woven, weighted, the kind of thing placed on shoulders at coronations and commissionings, the mantle your field years earned thread by thread while nobody watched. Feel it settle onto you, across the shoulders that learn tonight to come down from around your ears. It is heavy, and the heaviness is not burden, it is fit. It is load-meeting, load-bearing. This is what the dense grain was grown for. Chosen one, stand under it for 3 breaths. In, out, in, out, in, out. And with the mantle on your shoulders, hear the last name of the night, the specific one, the one that only fits a commissioned original with a clearing channel. You are a seer of the hidden. That is the name over the assignment. The name the vault years wrote. The name Eliab will never understand, and the drowning strong ones will recognize on sight. It is not a title for a card. It is a function in the body. The eyes trained in the dark, sent back into the dark, carrying light that does not perform. Wear it sealed. Walk it quiet. Answer to it in the early hours. Open your eyes. The commissioning is complete. All that remains is the sealing of the whole night. And for that, chosen one, I need nothing further from you except what you brought into this room 3 hours ago. Your presence, unwitnessed and true. Come, chosen one. The night is nearly full, and what remains now is the sealing, the part of a commissioning that no one performs and no one rushes, the part where the oil is pressed in so it cannot be wiped off by Tuesday. Be still one more time. Feel the room. 3 hours ago it was just a room, the same walls, the same late hour, the same you, or so you thought. Rooms change when they host things. Chosen one. There are kitchens. People cannot enter casually anymore because a marriage was saved at that table. Hallways where a prayer was answered once and the air never quite forgot. This room, your cleared room, has now hosted a naming, an unmasking, a sending, and a mantle. You will pass through it tomorrow on the way to ordinary things, and something in you will nod at it, the way you nod at an altar. Let it. A soul needs geography, and tonight this address entered yours. Before anything is declared, there is gratitude to pay, because commissionings that skip Thanksgiving grow brittle, and I want yours supple for decades. Give thanks, first, strangely, for the hidden years themselves. Not for the pain of them, you owe pain no thanks, but for what was smelted in them against your will and beyond your sight. The perception, the direct line, the instinct, the grain. Say thank you for the field, chosen one, the way David must have, some night, on a palace roof, missing the sheep with a fierce and holy nostalgia, understanding at last that the crown was cut in the pasture. Give thanks for the ones who could not see you. Yes, even them. They were not villains in your story. Most of them. They were people mid-costume, reading other costumes, doing what unseeing eyes do. Their blindness drove you into the one visibility that transforms. Chosen one. If human eyes had fed you adequately, you might never have learned the taste of Elroy. Release them from the debt tonight. They could not pay it anyway, and you are no longer hungry at their particular table. And give thanks for the timing, that this message found you tonight and not 10 years ago, when the vault was still smelting and the words would have wasted, and not 10 years from now, after more grooves and more funerals of dreams. It found you at the seam, the exact seam between the hiddenness and the deployment. That is not an algorithm, chosen one, whatever the machinery of this world believes about itself. That is an appointment kept by the only one who had the schedule. Before the laying down, let me honor what happened here, because I have learned never to rush past this part. And tonight, of all nights, it must be said slowly. Somewhere in these 3 hours, in parked cars and night kitchens and dark bedrooms across the world, something statistically impossible kept occurring. The strong ones let their faces down with no one watching. The easy children, 50 years grown, heard their childhood contract read aloud and voided. People who have not cried since dates they could name to the day, cried safely, alone, over the discovery that alone was never what it claimed to be. I do not take that lightly, chosen one. I have watched many messages move through many rooms, and there is a particular hush that only comes when a word and a season land on the same address at the same hour. This night has had that hush since the first minute. You felt it too. You are inside it now, and you, specifically, deserve honoring, though the costume in you will try to deflect this, so receive it as a discipline. You stayed 3 hours on the subject of your own hiddenness, the one topic your entire inner architecture was built to avoid, and you did not look away. Do you understand what that already demonstrates? The person the prison built could not have done this. The performance self does not sit alone in silence being seen to the bottom for an evening. It would have manufactured an urgent reason to leave within minutes, and it has, 100 times, from mirrors far gentler than tonight. Whoever finished this message, chosen one, it was not the costume. You have already been operating as the original for hours. The unmasking you were waiting for has been in progress the whole time. Now, we lay things down. Breathe with me, slow, and let each exhale carry one item out of your hands, because the mantle needs both of them empty. Lay down the label, the strong one, the easy one, the invisible one, whichever paper they pressed into your hand, whichever you said aloud at the river tonight. It had a long career. It is retired. Exhale, and let it stay retired. Lay down the audience, the committee in your head, the review board, the imagined watchers whose verdicts ran your face for decades. The room is cleared now, permanently, at the level that matters. You perform for no one, chosen one. You are watched only by the eyes that named themselves I see you, and those eyes have never once required a costume. Exhale, lay down the ledger of the unseen years, the bitter accounting, who never noticed, who never asked, who got the credit. The true ledger was kept elsewhere, in a bottle, in a book, in a vault, and it is being paid out now in currencies the old ledger could not imagine. You cannot hold both accountings. Exhale, and keep the one with your real name on it. Lay down the apology you have been making with your posture your whole life, the sorry for existing that lived in your shoulders, the take up less space that lived in your voice. The commissioned do not apologize for the size of their assignment. Exhale, chosen one, and come all the way up to your height. Lay down too the comparing, the lifelong sideways glance, the measuring of your hiddenness against their visibility, your chapter 3 against their chapter 20, your field against their table. Comparison was always the thief, taxing you twice. Chosen one, once for the wound, and once for the watching of others who seemed unwounded. But you have seen the vault now. You know what fields build and greenhouses cannot. There is no one to compare to, because there is no one else assigned to your acres. Exhale, and let the sideways glance retire with the label. The eyes were needed elsewhere anyway. They were always needed elsewhere. And lay down, last, the almost. The version of this night where you heard everything and changed nothing, filed it beside the other mountaintops, let the grooves have the morning. That version exists, chosen one. Futures are real things, and you have walked its grey corridor in your imagination more than once tonight. Set it down, refuse its residency. You did not survive the vault years to become the archive of your own commissioning. Exhale, fully, and let the almost go. Find someone who still needs it. You are done being its address. Feel the hands now, empty, warm, slightly unfamiliar. The hands of a person who has carried things so long that carrying nothing feels like a new skill. Those hands are about to be filled with an assignment, chosen one, but for one breath, honor the emptiness. It cost you 3 hours and 40 years. Now rise inside yourself, because it is time to declare, and declarations, as you learned once already tonight, are not affirmations. Affirmations are hopes in nice clothes. What follows are findings of fact, the settled verdicts of everything uncovered in this cleared room, and they want your voice, out loud if the house allows, mouthed if it does not, because the record of heaven takes dictation from moving lips, and because your own ears need to hear these words in your own frequency, unmanaged, unedited, the original speaking for itself at last. Say it. I am seen. I was seen in the showers and the cars and the dead hours. I was seen carrying what no one counted and staying when leaving was defensible. Nothing I did in secret was lost. The court was never empty. I am seen, and I have always been seen. Say it. I am not what they called me. The easy one, the strong one, the too much, the not enough. Those were descriptions of a shelter, filed by people who never saw me get dressed. The first name is uncovered now. I answer to what he wrote. Say it. I am whole. The auditor and the original, the dreamer and the decider, the face and the underneath. One table now, one current, one resident. What was divided is reuniting, and division has lost its lease. Say it. I am equipped. The perception, the direct line, the homing instinct, the dense grain. Nothing about my hidden years was waste. I do not arrive at my assignment as an applicant. I arrive as the inventory of everything the vault built. Say it. I am sent. To the strong ones drowning, the easy children grown, the pillars with pulses, the criers in cars. I know the interior of the unseen life, every hallway of it, and it is not my wound anymore. It is my territory. And say the last one slowly, chosen one, because it is the name and the mantle and the night, all in one breath. I am a seer of the hidden, and the hidden are about to be found. That was the peak of this entire message, and notice, one final time, whose voice carried it. Yours. 3 hours ago that voice answered questions with fine. Tonight, it declared a commissioning, out loud, in an empty room, and did not flinch. Whatever else you doubt on the hard days, chosen one, you have now heard the original speak at full height, and so has every room in your future. Seal it in the open, the last signature of the night. Type the words, I am seen and I see. 6 words, the whole covenant in one line, the receiving and the deploying. Elroy answered in kind. Let it sit in the record, with the thousands of others, dated tonight, from the room where you stopped performing. And now, the quiet, because every true peak resolves downward, and what follows, a commissioning is not applause. It is the hush of a thing completed correctly. Let the breath slow. Let the shoulders keep their new address. Somewhere outside your walls, the ordinary world is still running its noise, and in a few minutes you will rejoin it, and it will not know what happened to you tonight. That is exactly right. The oil was never for the crowd. It runs silent, under the days, the way rivers run under cities, and it holds. Stay in the settling one more minute, because there is a discovery hiding in it that people miss by leaving too fast. Notice what you are feeling right now, in the after-peak quiet. It is not excitement. Excitement is thinner than this. It is not relief exactly either. Sit with it until it names itself. There. It is the feeling of being accompanied, chosen one. The room is cleared and yet not empty, has not been empty all night, and your body has finally stopped bracing against a solitude that turned out to be presence, wearing quiet clothes. Memorize this exact weight in the chest, this exact temperature. This is what the well felt like to Hagar after the voice finished. This is baseline now, not a peak to chase, a floor to stand on. You will drift from it some weeks, everyone does, and the practices are the road back, and the road is short, 10 minutes, and a kept appointment short. You are never again more than one cleared hour from this floor, chosen one. That may be the most practical sentence of the night, so I will say it twice. You are never again more than one cleared hour from this floor. Receive now the blessings of the road, and carry them out of this room into your actual Tuesday life, because that is where every word of tonight was always headed. May your appointments be kept and your early hours be thick with the presence that waited years for your reception to clear. May the 10 minutes become the hinge of your days, and may you come to guard them the way you once guarded your image, fiercely, without apology. May your seal journal fill with dated words that stand up years later, and may your Mordecai be faithful, discreet, and easily found when the first unsealing comes. May the true sentences compound, brick by honest brick, until the rooms that knew your costume best become the rooms where the original is most at home. And may the flinches of adjusting tables turn, in their season, into the shy first honesties of people you love, learning realness from your candle. May the hidden ones surface on schedule, at desks and dinners and checkout lines, referred by what no directory lists. May you say the small true-seeing thing at the right beat, watch the face change, and drive home in the good tears, acre by acre, until the whole field of your unseen years is farmed into someone else's survival. May the counterattacks find you warm and unmoved, the anticlimax find you faithful in threads, and the old casting calls find the part permanently recast. May the limp of the river stay with you, beautiful and disarming, the walk of the touched. And may the 8 quiet minutes, if you chose them, run beneath your nights like a tide coming in, groove softening, traffic reversing, the duet returning section by section, until some ordinary morning you realize the door has been open for weeks and no one was pushing it. May your household feel the change before it can name it, the thermostat effect of a resident original, the safety that radiates from an unarmored chair at the table. May the children in your orbit, blood or borrowed, grow up strangely free in your presence and never know until decades later that it was because one adult in their world had a face that matched an interior. And may the ones you love who are still deep in their own costumes be patient cases, not projects, warmed toward their own unmasking at the speed of trust, which is the only speed that holds. May your work become a hiding place for open eyes, every meeting a field assignment, every hallway a shoreline where the drowning drift past, disguised as the fine, and may provision find you the way it finds the obedient, meeting motion, arriving at the edge of each lamp-lit step, never early, never once too late. And may you live what you declared, chosen one, all the days that remain, not the almost, the seer, the found one, finding, the seen one, seeing, the first of your line to walk out of the museum of missed windows and prop the door behind them, forever, for everyone downstream who will never know why home became easier to be real in. And carry the charge, chosen one, the whole program of the unmasked life, spoken once more, slowly, so it leaves this room in your hands and not just in your feelings. Tonight, before sleep, the journal opens, the room gets its name, the one face gets the message, and the 5 words, watch this when you are alone. Tomorrow, the first appointment, 10 minutes, early, no phone, no agenda, reception only, and the first true sentence, one honest brick, wherever the day would have drafted fine. This week, the first seeing, one hidden person, found on purpose, one sentence with sight in it, and the Sabbath of the face on the calendar, one defended block of costume-free hours. This season, the seal held, contents between you, the journal, and Elroy, until the word has bones. Then, the one Mordecai, in private, public last, and only ever, as results. And nightly, if you chose them, the 8 minutes, headphones on, eyes closed, the tide coming in under everything else, softening what 40 years hardened. If you did not choose them, the practices stand on their own feet, and so, now, do you. That is all of it, chosen one. Small enough to survive your busiest week, concrete enough that the fog cannot eat it, dated enough that heaven can meet it. The mantle does not need you impressive, it needs you scheduled. Notice too what happens to your prayers from tonight forward, because the theology of the found is different from the theology of the hidden, and yours changed hands this evening. For years you prayed upward at a watcher you suspected was general, distracted, grading on volume. That construct died at the spring tonight. You pray now to the one who was in the cryptos with you the entire time, who kept the bottle and the book, who hired no doorman and misfiled no tears. Watch how the voice of your prayers changes when the audience is known to be El Roy. Shorter probably, truer, certainly, less presentation, more presence, the way people talk at kitchen tables after the face has already changed. That shift alone, chosen one, would have been worth the whole night. There is a final scene from the Hagar story that I held back, because it belongs here, at the ceiling. After the encounter at the spring, after she named God El Roy, the story does one more quiet thing. The place itself was named Bir Lahai Roy, the well of the living one who sees me. The naming did not stay on God, chosen one. It spread to the geography. The desert spot where an invisible woman was found became a landmark with a name, and the book records that people returned to that well for generations. Isaac was living near it when his own story turned. The place where one person got seen became a watering hole for the whole line that followed. Do the same tonight. Name your room, not out loud to anyone. In the seal journal, tonight, first entry. The chair, the car, the kitchen, wherever this found you, write its name, the place where I was seen, and the date. Because you will need a Bir Lahai Roy in the desert seasons ahead, a physical spot your memory can walk back to when the costume lobby's hard, proof with an address attached. This happened. It happened here. The living one saw me in this exact spot, and I wrote it down before the week could argue. And who knows, chosen one, decades from now, someone downstream of you, some Isaac of your line, may camp near the well you named tonight, without ever knowing why that corner of the world feels attended. Wells outlive their diggers. That was always the point of digging them. A few last things, spoken softly, the way true endings deserve, and then I will let you go, though it would be more honest to say, I will let you begin. Keep watch on your dreams this week, the sleeping kind. Commissioning seasons speak that language fluently, and your reception is clearing by the night. Paper by the bed, chosen one. You only need to catch the one that repeats. When you wake at the old hour, 3, 4, do not fight it and do not scroll it. You know what it is now. Attend the appointment. Even 5 minutes of showing up rewrites years of unanswered knocks, and some of what could not fit through tonight will arrive through those windows in pieces sized for silence. If the week turns loud, and it may, remember the trail you left in this room. I am alone with him. Seen, it is sealed. I take it off. Send me. I am seen, and I see. Read it in order when the costume lobbies for its old job. That trail is your deposition, chosen one, sworn in the only court that matters, and depositions do not flinch when Thursday cross-examines them. And when your first kitchen table happens, when the first hidden one comes apart safely in front of your seeing, come back to this message and tell the room. No details of theirs, just the fact of it. Found one. Someone will read beneath your words, and somewhere in another cleared room at another impossible hour, a person deciding whether any of this is real will find your comment and stay 1 more minute, and the 1 more minute will become their whole turning. The congregation builds itself that way, chosen one, testimony by testimony, room by cleared room, and no algorithm on earth can take credit for it. Someone will ask you about tonight, chosen one, so take the discretion script with you, because the question is coming. Tomorrow or Sunday, someone who knows your face well will study it a moment too long and say, you seem different. What happened? And the new you, honest to a fault, now, will feel the pull to pour out, the whole night, the seeing, the river, the mantle, all of it, into a coffee break-sized container held by an unprepared audience. Do not. Here is the whole script. Something good happened. I am still unpacking it. 8 words, warm, true, sealed. If they press, and the right ones will not press, add, I will tell you when it has settled. That is not evasion, chosen one. That is stewardship. You are not hiding the treasure. You are refusing to hand a newborn across a counter. The ones meant for the fuller story will be led to ask again in its season, and you will know them by the patience of their asking. And a blessing over this very night of sleep, because commissioning evenings do strange and wonderful things to the first darkness that follows them. May you sleep tonight the way the anointed boy slept back among his sheep, mantled and unhurried, the oil doing its quiet work under the wool of an ordinary life. May the hour you usually dread, the 3, the 4, pass tonight either in the deep or in sweet attendance, whichever your frame needs more. And may the first thought of tomorrow morning, before the costume can reach the microphone, be the simple sentence that reorders a day at its root. I am seen, and I have an appointment. Watch what mornings become, chosen one, when that is what they open with. If this house fed you tonight, you know the small mechanics, the like, the subscription, the sending to the one face. They cost nothing, and they carry bread to rooms I will never see. And the door with the 8-minute stays in the description and the pinned comment, tonight, and until the page changes. For the ones who decided, as originals, and want night 1 to be this night. Handle it before you sleep if it is yours to handle, chosen one, because dawn has an appointment with you now, and I would have you resting toward it, not shopping. There is one more message after this one. There always is, because commissionings unfold in sequence, and the seer of the hidden will one day need the next map, the one about what to do when the found ones multiply beyond your kitchen tables, when the assignment outgrows the hours you have, when the quiet work starts asking for structure. That message exists on this channel, and something tells me you will know the season you need it. The house will be here. It was built for the 3 in the morning congregation, and the congregation, as of tonight, includes you. So this is where I leave you, chosen one. Not at an ending, at a beginning, in a room that became an altar, wearing a mantle woven in a vault, carrying a name written before the shaping, sent to people only your eyes can find. The one whose name is I see you has seen you. The room he cleared, you now keep. The years he hid you, you now spend. And the door he opened tonight, no committee, no costume, and no counterfeit can close. And if the Father would speak one last word over this room before it seals, one final sentence for the road, I believe it would be this. My child, I did not clear this room for one night. I cleared it so you would know the way back. Come, as you are now, unannounced, uncostumed, any hour the world releases you. The door has no schedule, and the seeing has no end. I was here before you learned my name for it. I will be here after you have taught it to the ones I am sending you to find. Go now. You were never invisible. You were treasured in secret, and the secret is over. Go and see them the way he has seen you. Amen and Amen.